Outlaw Radio on deck on a Wednesday evening, Hump Day edition. What it do? What it do? My name is Kevin Barnes. I am the militant with a microphone, the mouthpiece of the movement, aka the Negro Whisperer, ready to present you with another episode of Outlaw Radio. FBA conversations on a Wednesday night, foundational Black American conversations, if you will. I know it's a term that's real controversial right now. A lot of people have voiced their opinion on whether or not it is divisive. I don't happen to believe it's divisive. And I don't pretend that there's a bunch of different things attached to it that would be considered necessities so that you can say you are part of the FBA lineage, such as membership into the Democratic Party or allegiances to certain individuals, someone like Tariq Nasheed or whatever the movement for ADOS is, which I don't subscribe to. But I do understand my lineage. I do understand where I come from, understand where my family comes from, and I understand our contribution to this country. So, yes, I consider myself a foundational Black American. How y'all do this evening, man? I hope this week is going well for you. We are halfway through. Ain't nothing left but the weekend now. If you are working, I know you're just counting your days. You got a couple days left before Saturday. And I hope you caught the show on Monday. It was a dope show on Monday, some real deep conversations. But share the show on Facebook. Share the show. We have a phone number, which is on the screen, which is 262-202-5131. You can also get in our chat room and join in the conversation. Hopefully the Outlaw family will be along as we go. And we'll see. We'll see what it do. But like I say, it's time to really just discuss things from our perspective. We don't really have anybody to serve in terms of owners besides myself. I don't have any backroom deals from someone who would be upset or offended by whatever said on the show, which is why a lot of times our conversations are so unfiltered and uncensored. And so, it goes like that. I also have a YouTube page, which is under the People's Network, People's with a Z. You can see our show on there. You could see it on my personal Facebook page, or you could go to the Outlaw Radio Facebook page, which I know a lot of people are on. But if you're tuning in, shout out to you. I hope you, like I said, I hope you're having a good week. We are going through a bunch of different scenarios in our country right now. We are obviously damn near halfway through the Trump regime. A bunch of conflicts going on overseas, a bunch of political upheaval. It is midterm time. It is time for you to decide the president's support system. So when you hear someone say midterm, all we're talking about is his support system. Judges, senators, congressmen who are up for election or re-election. And we are hopeful that enough people counter to President Trump will be elected so that his policies won't be able to just roll through, right? And so what's supposed to make America great is checks and balances. And so we're hoping that there's enough alternative politicians, alternative to Trump, Democrats, and not that I'm a Democrat. So I think a lot of people might think that, just because you're Black, or there's that false narrative that foundational Black Americans are really Democratic loyalists. And that's not true at all. As a matter of fact, I consider myself neutral. I'm in the middle. I don't prescribe to Republicans or Democrats because I believe they've both been egregious to our people. And I don't see any policy that has moved the needle forward for us as foundational Black Americans. There's some limited movement. And some people may argue that the Democrats are behind most of that movement. But I'd be damned if it ain't some racist Democrats, just like it's racist Republicans, right? So a lot of times they make policies in spite of us, not in support of us. So when we look at our city, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it's a city that's been democratically run for a very long time. And look at our position in this city, right? Okay, so tell me how friendly the Democrats are to us. Some cats in my chat room already. I see my brother Jeff Crape. Shout out to Jeff Crape down in Texas. He said, "What's good, fam? How you doing, Jeff? Hope everything's going good for you down in Texas." Earl Henning said, "What to do, my brother? Love us all black people. Fuck Donald Trump." Earl never, ever misses an opportunity to say that. And I think a lot of people echo that sentiment. What's going on over there in Iran? Today was supposed to be some sort of D-Day. He said that it would be the death of a civilization. Okay, with this Straits of Hormuz, which are, I guess, some sort of important thoroughfare for trade. So what's going on? I know there was a ceasefire signed, and then I seen Iran said that they were going to back out because I guess Israel's not honoring it. They're still continuing to bomb. So all eyes on Iran. We'll see what's going on. Sharina Lynette in the chat room. I see you, Sharina. She said, "Hey, Kev, how you doing? How you doing, Sharina? Tell a friend and tell a friend. It's Outlaw Radio, man. We're going to discuss any and everything that's pertinent to black people tonight. It's Wednesday, so this is the second show of the week, and actually the last show of the week because we only come on twice a week, right? And still working on adding something to our presentation. So we'll see what that is as we go along. But yeah, so I don't know what's going on over in Iran. It's funny that this president has done pretty much everything he said he wouldn't do, including getting us involved in wars and conflicts and, you know, jacking up our economy. And if this is how you make America great again, okay, this is just are we great again yet? I'm asking all you MAGA fanatics out there, are we great again yet, or should I wait longer? I don't know. So let's see what it is. Mr. Jordan, how you doing this evening?
I'm good. Since you want to touch on the whole "Make America Great Again" thing, and you asking some of our Trump friends this, the week gas prices went up. I went and bought another electric car. In addition to that, talking to them about what's going on, Kev. The thing is, you're intelligent. You're an intellectual. It's a waste of our time, to be honest. Like, us having a show about it is one thing, but have you had a conversation with any of them lately, bro? It's wild work, dog. So I officially cut off my last Trump supporter about a week ago. Yeah, I can't deal with it. I don't, because it's not politics. It's just a whole bunch of dumb shit, and I don't deal with dumb people. So yeah, other than that, I'm good, man. I just got finished charging said electric car here, happy, blessed. Every day is a great day, especially when you wake up every day when God blesses us. There you go. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't, you know what? I have not spoken with any real MAGA supporters. And one of the reasons being is because I don't know a lot of them. And I'm one of those people who I avoid getting involved in conversations on social media. Like you'll rarely see me comment on posts and go back and forth with someone. I've done it before. It's not a big deal, but it's just something I stay away from because I don't think you can make good points on social media because,
yeah,
I mean, what's the goal? Like, what is the goal, right? Like, so tonight's show is called FBA Conversations. So the goal of tonight is to present conversations that are pertinent to black people. But when I'm debating on Facebook with somebody going back and forth, what is my goal? Is it to change their opinion? Is it to win some sort of an argument? I don't know. I'm not sure. So it's just like useless. I call it what I call a fruitless pursuit. So I don't know what MAGA supporters are saying or how they feel. I would just hope that they're honest about the faux pas of our president and the ones that he's made up to this point, and how America has become the laughing stock. We're a laughing stock right now because our leader is just wacky and whimsical, right? Like, so Sharita Shaw, how you doing? She said, "Good evening, Outlaw family." Aaron Brown is quoting the Ghetto Boys. In Vietnam, a lot of niggas died young. POWs got hung, right? I don't know if you all have ever heard the song by Ghetto Boys called "Fuck a War." Yep. One of their greatest ones. And I didn't know that at the time that Willie D and Scarface wrote Bushwick's rhymes.
Yeah.
But if you listen to that song now, you can kind of hear Willie D. I think Willie D wrote that song. You can kind of hear his voice behind Bushwick. I ain't getting my legs shot off while Bush whole ass on TV playing golf. Right? Hey, come to my house with that draft shit. Shoot your funky ass.
Yes, bitch. Hey, what's funny too? One thing I do like to do And I normally don't like to be the person to say, I told you so. I don't. I just like to present facts and educate like you. And that's one of the reasons my mother loves you so much, Kevin, because she's the exact same way. She's like, yeah, she's like, I'm like him. Because you've said this before on the show that you don't do that shit. She loves that, by the way. And the
Appreciate
thing is, though, a lot of local elections, the Waukesha mayoral race ended last night, and these Republicans are mad, sir. The Wisconsin Supreme Court was won by a left-leaning apparent judge, and I told them, and I'll be all on Greg Johns. He used to be the program person for Jay Weber. He used to be his fat guy, and I just kept texting him in the morning. I said, I told you, you guys are too far to the right. Anything associated with this crackpot fraud we have in the White House right now, it's going to trickle down. No, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Because I've had multiple people tell me anything associated with this version of the Republican Party, they will either not vote or vote the complete opposite. It don't even matter what the policies are, which, that's a little crazy. But it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. So, yeah.
As it should be. And we've stated many a times that if you are an individual who is upset about what's going on right now, politically in our country, the best thing that you could do is get involved with the midterms. And I think that voting against Trump's regime and the people that support him is a good place to start. Now,
yes,
the Supreme Court Judge Chris Taylor, I see she was elected, and the thing is I've discussed a lot of times is that we have to make sure we pay attention to who's in the Supreme Court. Now, Wisconsin right now, I believe what they call liberals hold a 5-2 advantage over the conservatives, right? As far as now, they just kept referring to her as a liberal because I was looking for some of her policy or some of her perspective, and it just kept saying liberal, liberal, liberal. So I didn't know. I'm not sure what she even stands for. I haven't really paid attention to. I haven't heard her speak, so I was hoping you had some insight on some of her stances, because I know you pay a lot of attention to politics. So I don't know. They just keep saying liberal, 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 and I'm like, well,
they said she supports abortion, kind of like the last lady that beat Rebecca. What's her name? Yeah, they said Chris stands for abortion, and I'm gonna let me do some diving because I thought it was interesting because that's what I saw too. Because they kept calling her a liberal, a lib this, a lib. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? First of all, that race is supposed to be bipartisan. That you're not supposed to know, but we obviously know that's not the case. But that's ideally what it is. That shows how far we've slipped politically. But yeah, man, I know that she's pro-choice. That's the only thing I know about her. But I knew she was gonna win.
She dominated 60-40. So
yeah, of course she did.
They said it was a blowout, and the
Maria
race
was good too, by the way. Maria, she's decent. She's more of a fiscal conservative, but that would explain why she lost. She ain't racist and all that other shit.
Mr. Carter in the building. What's going on, man? How you doing?
OG.
I'm all right. Peace. How y'all feeling?
Good.
All right.
Happy to be here, man.
Hell yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. We just talking about some political brouhaha as we get the show started. Because like I said, we had a Supreme Court justice victory, and people are very hopeful that there will be what they like to define as a blue wave. They want to see blue candidates winning, taking seats, so that Trump won't have this kind of super monopoly where he can just go and do and say whatever he want. You got a lot of people calling for the installation of the 25th Amendment to remove Trump, which is something.
It's fair.
I mean, I think it's a statement that's being made for people, especially who won't ever even be honest about some of the faux pas and missteps he's made as president. When you have the call for the 25th Amendment, basically, which is a clause that is designed to remove the president from office because of a couple different reasons, right? Like but in his case, it would be incompetency, because people don't feel like he's a competent leader. So, it's a crazy time to be alive, man. Crazy time in history. Let me get in my chat room. I see y'all busy over here. Aaron is forever quoting. He's continued to quote the Ghetto Boys. I ain't going to war for a shit talking president. You will You will if you're enlisted and you've been getting that check. If
Yeah,
you've been
exactly.
wanting that GI Bill in the future.
He quoting the right shit though. Them are some good ass songs, actually.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites, man. Fuck a
Mine
war.
too. Fuck a war.
That was a dope Ghetto Boy song. They don't get credit for
No,
some
they
of their
really
political
don't.
statements. Ace Cooley, how you doing, my brother? He said the real reason behind this war is because we are going through a currency change. Serena says, "Hey, doctor and Mr. CEO." She's speaking to the fellas. And Ace Cooley says, "By the way, what up, fellas?
Hi, what up?
What it do, my brother?" Aaron Brown once again. He says, "Motherfucker, what? That's how I feel. Send a nigga to the desert to get killed."
Keep reading all his shit, bro. Because I love
you motherfuckers die for nothing. Yeah.
I love that shit. Exactly.
Y'all better go check out "We Can't Be Stopped," man. It was a dope
album. A badass album. Didn't they have two versions of that?
No, they had two versions of "Do It Like a Geo."
Okay, yeah, that was man. I don't even.
It was actually called. I'm sorry. It was called "Grip It on That Other Level." "Do It Like a Geo" was a song on there. It was called.
Okay. Real quick, because I don't want to really jump off topic because I know we got a lot to talk about. But I'm sorry, I just got to ask. Top 5 rap group of all time? I think so. Ghetto Boys.
Ghetto Boys, most definitely.
Yeah, I don't even think that's arguable, actually.
Yeah, I don't.
And Ice Cube, you actually mentioned something about Ice Cube being the top 10 MC, and this shows how. And this is a guy, I'm not gonna say his name because he watched the show. He related to me, so I'm sorry. I won't claim him as a cousin if I ever say his name, so I can't say it. But he tried to tell me that Ice Cube is not a top 10 MC. I said, bro, Ice Cube is one of the top 3 greatest hip hop artists of all time. I said, dude, I put him over 90% of the dudes. The only reason I don't put him over Tupac is because of the icon shit with Pac. You know what I'm saying? It was a little different. But Cube was cold. And one of the reasons Tupac got to where he got, if you remember Last Words on Pac's second album, I remember I liked Pac and I thought he was straight, but obviously I loved Ice Cube. I'm like, why is Ice Cube doing a song with this motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? And I was shocked. But then I was like, because he was so young. I was like, man, I'm like, these OGs doing some shit with this dude, he must be special. And he ended up being special. But yeah, Ice Cube is top 5, top 10 doesn't, to me, go below that. Y'all put him up there like top 5? I think he is. Death Certificate is one of the greatest rap albums ever.
I definitely put him top 10.
Yeah.
But I think once again we start talking about how we judge hip hop and how we judge MCs and songs and all this kind of stuff is
subjective.
So subjective. And a lot of times it's regional. Sometimes it's based on your age, right? Like, and so it depends on how far you go back, right? Like, so if you are our age, you remember the first time you heard Ice Cube, and you remember how everything else was kind of muted because of his voice and because of the way he flowed. And there were a lot of people who were actually scared. Like, and I found this out later. People were like, he scared a lot of people, right? Like, just because Cube sounded aggressive. His voice, he sounded mean.
Everything was aggressive.
And he was scowling every time you seen him. So I definitely put him top 10. I think he had one of the greatest runs in terms of, because every rapper has a run, but from America's Most Wanted all the way up to War and Peace, I think Cube had probably if you talk about Death Certificate, if you talk about The Predator, you talk about Lethal Injection.
Come on.
All these albums in a row, I definitely think Cube is, I don't know how anybody could leave him out. You know what I mean? But
you can. If you don't know what the fuck you talking about, absolutely you can.
Or if you don't, well, once again, I think too, we have to consider that for some people, their bag was different in terms of what they were listening to at the time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So Cube might not have been some people's bag, right? Like, so, I mean, you hear what's his name? The comedian guy. What's his name? Corey? What is his name? Not Corey.
Corey Holcomb.
Not Corey Holcomb, but the other guy, Ari Spears. He just hard on Cube. He disrespects Cube, talking about he hated his music. He hated him as an actor. And at first I was like, come on, man. But then I thought about it, like, it probably just wasn't his bag. Like like how we love the Ghetto Boys, right? And
that's
like,
shit personal with Ari Spears, I'm sure.
How we just gave it up for the Ghetto Boys. There's people would say, you crazy. Like, they'll say, well, Tribe Called Quest, they would put other groups above, so it's just so subjective. and I think everybody has the right to their opinion. The one thing about any
Yeah,
debate
for
is
sure.
just be able to stand on your opinion, right? Like, so don't tell me, PM Dawn was way better than Ghetto Boys, and then don't have any facts behind it. Like, you can't. Not that PM Dawn wasn't great, right? But it wasn't my bag back in the day. So
Hey, I love the Locks. I think the Locks is one of the greatest rap groups ever too. With NW.
That's how we are so varied because my personal opinion, and I've said this on the show, I feel like Jadakiss is overrated. I really do. And so there's a lot of people who are like, Kev, what you talking about? I don't have. I mean, of course he's had some quotables, but to me, classic album wise, I don't.
That's fair. Jadakiss is in my top 10 all-time lyricists, like dudes that got punchlines and can write and mixtape shit. But you're absolutely right. Name 2 albums that he made that is as good as Ice Cube's worst album.
Well, take somebody like Scarface who has The Diary, and
that dude is something else. He really is. He's special. Brad is special.
Take a like Big Mike, OG Big Mike, who we interview here on Outlaw Radio. His first 3 albums were all classics, and so Something Serious is like front to back. It's almost no skips. I don't know that Jada has an album like that. So
he doesn't. I'm a huge Jadakiss fan. I listen to his mixtape shit.
Yeah, okay, I guess. To me, he's overrated.
No, I'm a huge Jadakiss fan. Like, he's one of my favorite rappers of all time. I love everything he does on the mixtape shit. I don't even listen to his albums.
Okay, I missed a lot of the mixtape stuff. You know what I'm saying?
See, and that's the thing, though, because you was listening to niggas' albums, which makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And no, he don't have no album like that. Kiss to Death, no. As far as the GOAT, the album where he got the bust, top 5 Dead or Alive, that dude got some bangers on it. I'll be listening to that in the car. He got some bangers.
Even the Locks period, they don't register for me as one of the.
Yeah, I love Styles P and them. I love
that. I mean, they're comparable to a lot of groups from New York in the 90s.
Yeah.
I think that they're competent as a group and as MCs, but I don't put them in my like a group like Outkast or UGK or 8Ball and MJG or Ghetto Boys blow them completely out the water to me. So, but I'm not an East Coast head like that.
But Ball and MJG had their production was like really, really. They had the Swap House machine at the time too, bro. Like they was so in tune with the culture. Almost everything they did that came out for like 5 years was kind of like, that's hot.
So let me make it even more specific.
Yeah, because they shit was
to me,
hot, bro.
MJG is a better MC than Jadakiss. MJ does not get his props. MJG is one of the greatest dudes who ever picked up a microphone. If you just go back through their catalog and listen, a lot of the best 8Ball and MJG songs, MJ steals the show. And so, I can't put Jadakiss over him.
I think he's grossly underrated, and you think Jadakiss is overrated, which is fair for a lot of reasons, because he do really recycle the same shit, but he say different words and different brand names. So if that's where you coming from, the classic album shit, anybody that would argue with that's a futile argument. That doesn't even make sense. MJG, that to me, that's a crime because he really can rap his ass off. I mean, his flow is really nice. Like his flow reminded me like some kind of machine gun. I done heard this motherfucker, bro. Like, especially the song where they was talking about the police. What in the what was it called? In the Line of Duty? Yeah, that's shit. Yikes. Yeah.
I mean, No More Glory, his solo album.
Woo! Yeah. My brother used to play the shit out of that every day.
Ace says, this is Ace. He's in the chat room jumping in the conversation. He said, there would have been no NWA if Cube wasn't writing for Easy. Well, it would have been an NWA, but I don't think it would have been as pertinent. I don't think it would have been as dope. I mean, that's another thing people refuse to give Cube credit for is like,
you crazy if you don't. That dude,
that whole deal with him writing all those songs
when he was 16.
This is Ace. He says, "Where do we put DMX?" I think X is top 10. I did.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him like that either. And you're right, he is top 10.
Yep. I think he's top 10. But one thing about me is I'm not into devil worship music. Like, so anybody who's consistently talking about
Damien and shit.
Embracing Satan and this kind of thing. I'm like usually going to turn a deaf ear to it. Or if you talk about death, if you're preoccupied with death and dying too much for me. But I do think DMX was a dope MC and he had a lot of dope songs. So I do think he's top 10. I don't know where I put him in my Mama Jenkins, how you doing? She's in the chat room. She says, good evening, my Outlaw family.
Hey, what up, Mama Jenkins?
She's getting a little under the weather. She said the flu bug ain't no punk. Been drinking on her teas and meds. Please take care of yourself. I've been listening, just haven't had the strength to chat. It's all good, Mama Jenkins. I hope you're feeling better. Hope you are on the mend, as they say. It's always good to have you in the chat room.
Oh, and I was going to say, Kev, before you read the next comment, my mother and her maiden name is Lula Mae Hall. She swears to God she knows Miss Jenkins.
Okay.
she's like, no, we was on 13th Street. She's like, I know, sister. She said, I know, Sister Jenkins.
Sister Jenkins.
I said, all right, Mom, I'll throw a shout out that you saying hello to her.
6 degrees of separation, man.
Exactly, brother. You already know.
Sharita Shaw says MJG always landed the plane on the songs. Flow is crazy.
Good analogy.
I don't disagree. You're right. That's why I said most of the songs MJ was on, he kind of stole a song. Like, no, don't take away from 8Ball because I like 8Ball.
No, I love 8Ball, but yeah, you're right about that.
Like, I'm gonna have to agree with her. MJG, when it was time to bring it home, MJ was like, okay, we want to close this out. Yo, MJG getting in the booth and
get in the booth, man.
Right. It was just come together like that. So yeah, man.
Great rap group, great group, one of the greatest rap groups of all time.
Yeah. And they get a lot of credit. I see a lot of homage being paid.
Oh, now.
Streets named after them in Memphis, and they still tour. They still make independent music. So shout out to them brothers. I hope that they get in. And they said that they're in doing in the negotiations to own everything they did back in the day. So, you know, a lot of artists got to go back to get royalties and get publishing from their music. So they're in that process. But yeah.
Hopefully Tony Draper ain't giving them no pushback because from what I heard about Mr. Draper, he's always been kind of a stand-up dude anyway.
That's what they say.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about it, so I'm just saying.
I had some conversations with Mr. Mike. I was trying to get Mr. Mike on the show. And he spoke highly of Tony Draper in our conversations, and so did Big Mike. So did OG Big
Mike. Dude. All right, man, it's turned into a hip-hop conversation. I got one more. I got to give compliment to Mr. Mike. That motherfucker can rap, bro. Like, when you hear certain people, you just like, damn, he actually can rhyme. Like, yeah. He's so underrated. Yeah, him, Crooked Eye. It's so many dudes that never, quote unquote, got to a certain level that they probably even wanted to. But oh my Lord, he cold with the pen and he can freestyle. Yeah, I love Mr. Mike. He cold.
And Mr. Mike was dope.
Yes, he was. He still raps. He is.
And his album, his first album was classic. And then we get me start talking about South Circle when he was with Thorough, and there was a group. South Circle's album was dope. I'm talking about.
Yeah, them dudes. Very talented.
You say less
extremely talented. Yeah,
the left eye would have never turned my
shit. Had a hell of a run.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to OG Tweezy. He was psyched. He was down there fucking with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was. I heard about that.
Tony Draper game back to Milwaukee.
Yep.
I remember the billboards, Infinite Suave House. Yeah, I remember Infinite 4-5. I remember that when they were trying to put that together. Too bad.
Artwork was great too on those projects. The artwork was phenomenal.
Yeah, Tweezy was actually down there working with him though. Like, I don't know about Infinite.
I heard about that actually.
How they connected, but Tweezy was actually fucking with him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know he was integral to it. Cuckoo was part of that was a whole different time in Milwaukee where the city was trying to bubble up, man. They were trying to get in on the rap bug. It didn't never come to full fruition, but there's a lot of dudes trying to do it back in them days, man. A lot of dudes who were like really putting their best foot forward, staying in the studio, putting together songs, albums. We're talking about the Country Boy Clique era. So, you know, that's a dope time for Milwaukee.
I just did an interview with Jay Biller. He did 4 tracks off that Powder album.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it was a dope interview. I just dropped it a little while ago.
I always thought what's the name did the whole album. My man. What's his name? Big Hank. I always thought he did the whole album. Um,
He did Cuckoo whole album.
Big Hank did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
he
thought he
did
did
Cuckoo
Powder.
whole album. Country Boy Click, they had a few different producers. They had
Okay.
different producers. Jay Biller was one of them. Who was his name? Playboy. I can't quite remember his name right now, but it'll probably come to me while we sitting here.
Okay.
But everybody was intertwined though, you know what I'm saying? Like all the rappers, Baby Drew, Cuckoo, you know what I mean? Infinite 4-5 and Baby Drew and them label. Everybody
Yeah.
was cool. Everybody was intertwined. So it would appear that, you know what I mean? Yeah. But Tweezy was actually there.
Yeah, he
That's
was
who
integral.
Tweezy put Cuckoo on.
Okay. I know he was a major part of what was going on because, like I said, I've been in so many establishment, bars, clubs, and even from way back then would see him. Everybody would know him. We never really got to meet, never conversed or anything, but I would see him in many different places. And I got a lot of homeboys who know him,
Yeah.
who were real cool with him. So
I actually did some music with him.
okay.
Oh, that's dope.
That's why I say everybody back then, it was cool. It was love like that. Like we'd be in the studios, you know what I mean? I probably was just, a lot of the time I was just a fly on the wall, you know what I mean? But I was there.
Yeah, I used to run with my cousin Spider-Man Webb. He was the producer.
Mm-hmm.
He would
Spider-Man,
have,
that was my dude, man. That was
yeah,
my dude. That was
little
Spider.
cousin
I
used to
gave him
have
that
me.
name.
He used to have me in all kinds of studios around these rapper dudes, and I used to just be like, "Man, where hey, come on, cuz ride with me. Where we going, man? I gotta go to the east side and get some money from these rap dudes." I used to be like, "Man, I don't want to." And then I end up in some studio, right? Like for 3-4 hours while he's doing beats, and it used to be crazy, man. And all these dudes would be coming and going.
Yeah.
So a lot of them dudes, I would just be with little cuz, and we'd be kicking it like that. Mama Jenkins is talking to Ian. She says, "Tell your mom hello. It's a lot of us from a family of 10. We were all over the place like horse shit here and there."
I will. I'll let her know, Mama Jenkins.
Oh man. Sarita says, "Baby Drew." She said, "Powder is a classic album." Most definitely. I still am of the belief that Powder is the greatest hip hop album that ever came out of this city. A lot of people might disagree with me. I think it gave Milwaukee its own sound. The lingo, the whole thing about that album was so hard. And I remember coming home from school in the summer of '99, and everybody on the north side was playing that album. And I just remember asking my partners, like, "Yo, who is this?" "Oh, that's Baby Drew. That's Country Boy Click." And pretty soon, that shit was in my deck, and it didn't come out for months at a time. Because I'm like, "Yo, this dude is hot." I've interviewed Baby Drew probably about 3 or 4 times. So shout out to him. He's been on Outlaw Radio. He actually came to the crib one time. The first time I interviewed him, he came here when we were doing the show from the
That's
crib in the
dope.
studio. Yeah. He came here and sat down and chopped it up with us. I've interviewed him a bunch of different times, man. So he's
That's real.
he's a smooth dude. Yeah, he's a smooth dude. Ajamu Butler, man, what it do, man? He said, "Peace and love, gentlemen." Mr. Heal the Hood, man. I see you putting up your posts about Heal the Hood coming back. You got to let us know when and where so we can push that on here. If Milwaukee ever needed Heal the Hood, is right now.
You ain't lying.
Sharita saying, "Kamar, you should talk about your rap career more." She said, "I was just about to say, Kamar, talk about your rap career." A lot of people don't know, but some people do who listen to the show. Remember, Kamar was out here on the artistry tip long time ago, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, you don't talk about it.
Listen, I love this life, man. I lived a hell of a life. You know what I'm talking about?
I feel the same way, man. Hey, I still got my music on Rap Chat. I still got shit on there myself.
I don't got none of my shit. Well, I got one song. My guy just sent my guy in Atlanta. He used to rap with me. He sent me this joint. I got one. Man, I don't know none of that.
Nah, shit. Man, upload that to Rap Chat, man. I love to hear
his
it.
brother got everything though.
Okay.
I don't. You know what? We made a lot of stuff because I had homeboys and my cousin. Like I said, he would encourage me because he and I, when we were little, just young kids, he always had instruments, and me and him would mess around with the equipment. And then as we got older, but I was always going back to school or in school playing ball, so I never really got in the game. But I still have with my partner LPE, man. We did about 20. We was just at one point just having fun, man, and it wasn't, it ain't really a whole lot to do during the week. So during the week, that's just what we would do. I would just go to his house and he would just make beats and be like, "What's your idea? What would you do on this?" And so it was fun, man. It was a creative output. It was fun, but I was never a quote unquote rapper, but I was pretty good. I was a pretty good writer, man. Pretty good writer. Um, Mr. Butler is putting up the information for Heal the Hood. He said May 30th, 2026, 14th annual Heal the Hood MKE Block Party and Resource Fair. Oh, it's on Ackright, Atkinson Avenue, between 9th and 11th, 11 a.m. to 6. Okay, that's home base for me.
That's dope.
Yeah, right on Atkinson. And once again, another neighborhood that definitely needs it. Atkinson been bad for a long time. I shouldn't say bad. I don't like that word, but rough. Yeah. Everett Clansberry, how you do, my brother? He said, greetings, brothers. Praying for my hometown, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yeah, you got to pray for Milwaukee at this point. I did see some information about the brother who was murdered Saturday night in Fremont.
That's fucked up.
They said it was a 50-year-old who actually was the suspect. And I see that he's been this brother was arrested. Somebody put his picture up on Facebook. I think Ruben Anderson, who listens to the show, has a lot of information about that whole situation. So I don't know if Ruben's listening, but Ruben, if you out there, hit the line 262-202-5131. Let us know what the deal is with this. Anytime somebody's murdered inside an establishment,
yikes.
It's you start to wonder, like, how this whole thing happen? Like, who was the person that let this person in and stuff like that? It's crazy, man.
We'll find out.
Yeah, it's all gonna come out.
Exactly.
It's all gonna come out.
Definitely.
We're definitely gonna find out.
Yeah, you ain't lying. Shit.
I'm sure they got some cameras.
Ajamu said you and me both. She said, "Oh, Sharita said it was outside. Okay, it was outside. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I thought
that's a little different too.
Inside, yeah. Man, prayers and condolences for that brother's family. 40 years old.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Man,
I know.
That's the state we live in our city right now. She said argument inside, killing outside, because I did hear that it was a fight, and that's why I would love for Ruben to call in, because I know Ruben is usually an advocate for families in this kind of situation, and he helps a lot of people when it comes to them trying to get justice for their loved one. So, like I said, Ruben, if you out there, bang the line, man. Let us know what the deal is. But yeah, man. So it's Wednesday evening, man. I named the show FBA Conversations just because I wanted it to be specific in what we talk about on the show. I realize there's a lot of show business things that I don't talk about. There's sometimes things that happen to celebrities and in movies and music, and I don't talk about it because I'm more into the real world than I am into, the distractions. So I pretty much look at this and title these Foundational Black American Conversations, right? Like, so I just think there are things that Black people need to put on the burner and cook and say, okay, let's get this into the atmosphere. Serena said it was outside. The fight happened in the inside, and then dude went in his car because he couldn't take that ass whooping. Okay. Huh. So he lost the fair one. He shot the fair one and he lost it, and he went and got the gun. Okay. That's wild.
I want to add, because we had brought up earlier in the live about Judge Chris Taylor. I'm on her chrisforjustice.com if you guys want to check her out. They did an excellent job. I didn't know a whole bunch about this campaign. Honestly, Kev, they don't got her political positions or anything there. This is exactly probably why she won convincingly, because I'm just going to read a little bit and then we can kind of move on. Judge Chris Taylor is a lifelong advocate for justice, fairness, and protecting the rights of all people and Wisconsinites. As a judge on the Wisconsin Court of Appeals, she brings a deep understanding of the law and commitment to ensuring everyone gets a fair shot in our judicial system. And the rest of the page is like that, just for the record. Damn, I don't know who put it together, but that's smart. Because what the MAGA people were upset about is they were like, oh, the other woman should have ran a more right-wing oriented campaign. And I'm like, man, the fact that we have a guy in the White House that just really at this stage of the game, he is an incompetent. But anybody, it just trickles down from the top. That's my opinion. I stand on that. I think a lot of these local elections will be lost because of Trump. And it's like the Republicans, and I can speak on this from being around them for so long, they're so almost stupendously short-sighted. They were so happy that he won. And I'll give you an example that'll hit their nerves if they're watching. President Obama, hate him or love him, he still has the Affordable Health Care Act and didn't have to use no executive orders to get it. And these motherfuckers ain't even smart enough to get rid of it. What is Trump going to have when he leaves? Nothing. Because whoever's in there, especially if they're a Democrat, they're going to overturn everything he did because he didn't get any laws passed, which goes to what we've been saying for a while on this show and probably other places. He's a fucking idiot, and he doesn't know how to get anything done because he's cut corners his whole life. He's cheated his whole life. He's manipulated systems his whole life, and it's all coming to a crashing end. I'm happy today. Man, I'm happy.
I think. Well, like I said, I had looked because I wanted to know. Everybody was celebrating her victory. I'm speaking of Chris Taylor.
Yeah,
and I know I've spoken about us really making sure we know who these Supreme Court justices are.
Yeah,
because a lot of times when someone violates you as an individual in the courtroom, and you want to appeal that decision or you want to change to the laws as they exist, you have to go through either your state Supreme Court or the Supreme Court. And a lot of the times when Trump was when he first came out and it was executive order this, that, executive order this and that, the only thing that was stopping him was the executive orders being blocked by judges. And then all of a sudden you started to notice that the Supreme Court was ruling in favor of Trump. So we wondered out loud where it would stop at. So I looked for her to see what she stood for. I wanted to know where she stood in terms of policy, and I couldn't find anything but liberal. So that's why I asked. And I thought
it's
maybe
all law. It's all legal based because the Supreme Court justice is supposed to be what? Based on the law. They're supposed to make their decisions based on law, not political or religious opinions or beliefs.
But when we talk about, so she's pro-abortion. So, okay.
That's what they were saying. Yeah, I didn't see that anywhere, but that's what the right wing kept saying because she's a quote unquote liberal.
Okay. And when you say the word liberal nowadays, it's
somebody that don't agree with Trump.
It doesn't make me as a black man feel better because somebody says they're liberal. As a matter of fact, I get a little nervous because sometimes the liberal perspective is welfare them to death. Right.
Malcolm X talked about that shit years ago. I remember that speech. It's funny because you've had conservatives try to use that to kind of bolster their positions. He talked about both. He defined the differences. And no, I don't trust any of them. I mean, it's so bad and obvious nowadays that we are in the positions that we're in. And this is why, and we reiterate this all the time, why this show particularly is so important. Because we really touch things that they don't. And like we were talking about the 860 thing. I had so many people message me like, "Oh man, they'll never let the y'all motherfuckers on there. They'll never let Kevin on there because they said because he's fucking smart. Kamar is smart. And on top, think about this. Okay, think about this. If we were just left-leaning or super right-leaning people, Kevin, you got somebody that's been in your industry and with your credentials, education, and everything for over 2 decades. You have Kamar, who's a successful fucking entrepreneur, and you have myself, who's an entrepreneur, as well as I have 30 employees with my salary job. They would jump at the opportunity to have some people like us on, and the reason they don't, and I tagged them from News Undone, the last show, like, you guys are full of fucking shit. You don't want people on there because you get endorsed by the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. Nobody's stupid and they pay your bills. If you were smart, you take a risk and you'd make 10 times the amount of money. And I can prove it. We could do forecasting and do numbers. People love to chime in against people they disagree with. Kevin, you'd have motherfuckers disagreeing with you all the time. Kamar, you, me, they would. People, I'd say some shit. oh, fuck you, dog. And they would just flood the zone with calls. They'd be like, no, that's not cool. Their social media would jump. But the reason they're stagnant is because they don't have any foresight. And that just goes to show you, man, some of these companies are whatever. So I agree with you. Far as I understand, far as the standpoint of wanting to be on secular radio or excuse me, terrestrial radio. I think it's going to happen eventually one day. But I think whatever they're doing, at least right now, is going to fail. And I don't want to talk shit about Sherman and whatever else because that shit is obvious. I mean, it's a reason why these guys were, it's a reason why these guys are where they are. I'm not going to say, they shuffle or anything like that because that's not for me to say or me to determine. But dude, this show, if you listen to a lot of the shit we've talked about, Kev, be like, damn. At the end, they'd be like, man, that's an interesting topic. Or man, or when we talk about relationships, or we might disagree on certain things. And the attack on FBA right now is becoming more prevalent. And within the next maybe 3 to 6 months, you're going to see more because there's a guy, he has a Facebook page. I think his name is Shabazz Amir. And he says Black FBA does not support reparations. A whole bunch of nonsense. You know what I mean? Like I love to stay involved and be on social media, specifically Facebook, because you see a lot of bullshit on there, unsubstantiated nonsense. It's kind of wild. So yeah, man, I think that day is coming, Mr. Barnes and Mr. Carter. I do see they eventually gonna want to make some money.
I want to go to the chat room.
Yes, sir.
Rita Shaw saying they will lose not because of Trump. The Dems still don't get it. # nonpartisan.
Exactly.
I don't think either party gets it. I think
they don't.
They're too self-concerned. They're too concerned about themselves to really think about the people that they're supposed to represent.
Yeah.
This is Ace Cooley. He says, well, we got to be the laughing stock of the world. We are the only country that's had 2 special needs presidents in a row.
Oh, wow. That's fucking hilarious. I'm still in that one. Sorry, Ace.
He said, I ain't finna hit the club. Well, I'm a little past the club stage. I'm a little past the club stage. I'm a little over, wanting to go out and be in a bar full of people. I'm actually allergic to people and crowds, so I don't really want to be packed into a room with a bunch of people.
It's funny he said that. And Ace is a funny guy because I know he lived here. I'm telling you, man. We have so many places here where, sometimes you have like live entertainment and you can go to the place, you can eat, that kind of thing. And he's right, though. I haven't been to a club since I've been here, and I haven't been to a strip club in a while because there's one like 10 minutes from my house. It's called Curves. And I've never been there, but I'm just like, man, because I used to do that. But I'm so busy and I don't have time for it. But he's not wrong, man. I've actually wanted to kind of see certain things. The only clubs I go to here is the comedy club because I do some submissions for, and everybody check out Jay Davis, a Creative Hustle. They're in the 2nd season. I've been writing for them. But I go to the comedy clubs and I check them out. You know what I mean? It's some talent here. Definitely. But man, I ain't hit the club yet, Ace. I ain't going to do it, man. It ain't even worth it. Even though the car drive and stuff, I like to drink. So I don't like, I don't like going out anyway.
Yeah. I'm pretty much over. My club days are so far behind me.
Yeah, I ain't been.
But I do want to. I want to speak to. I didn't want to, and the purpose of our conversation the other night was not to single out 860 because there are voices on that station that are expressing. I'm sorry, somebody on the phone. What the hell is going on?
That's what I'm saying. You didn't tell me that. She was saying you her cousin.
Somebody got something on. I don't know if that's a television or a radio.
Hey, that's my bad.
Oh, because I was thinking, like, is my phone going off?
No, I can hear it.
I'll be doing that shit too sometimes on accident.
Yeah. But no, there's voices on there. There's things being said on there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. For sure.
And because it ain't really for me about drama and beef. I'm not a drama queen.
No.
My only sentiment was we've been on there. We had a great time when we were on there.
Went well.
I did meet with them at one point. We had a productive conversation. In my opinion, once you have a productive conversation, something should follow that.
Yep.
I didn't think the follow-up was done with any kind of integrity or class, to be honest with you. I just, it didn't, and it
Because
was
it
a
wasn't
positive
probably.
conversation. So that was disappointing for me.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I'm fine with that, and Godspeed, man. Like do what you do. For all the people who are on there, I don't want to rain on their
No,
opportunities.
God bless them. Yeah.
I just think the black media in Milwaukee overall, it ain't just them. Of course, they're gonna get the blame because they've been such a staple in our community forever. But I think the black media in Milwaukee, period, needs a shot in the arm. And I think most stations need to understand that people here of color are ready for next level conversations. They are ready to hear some controversial opinions. They don't want to go along to get along. And I think we're over being safe. I think we want to be empowered as opposed to being safe or being politically correct. I think we want to establish our own standards and write our own narratives. And to me, there should be a station that kind of says, let's do that. And if there is a station that wants to do that, here's a platform where we can begin doing that. So I'm not, I'm not a whiner. I don't want people to Kev be whining, Kev crying. No, Kev is okay. He's cool. And I also think you get what you got coming eventually. So if that's our destiny to be taken to terrestrial radio, I definitely think it'll happen. And so, like I said, shout out to them. Now they're a lot more modernized. I see more social media clips of people on 860 having conversations that are pertinent to me. They sound like foundational Black American conversations.
Okay.
And so that's dope. It's a good look. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
What's this? Sharita in the chat room saying she's talking about clubs. Large crowds make me think of immediate stampedes.
Oh God.
Anxiety through the roof. It's just not safe for me now because I know that bouncers tend to let their family or friends in with weapons.
Strapped up.
So, and I've had some friends who are friends with bouncers and they've gotten into establishments with weapons. So, kid, don't worry about it. We good. Whoa, what you doing with that? And firearms and alcohol just make such a horrible mixture, especially when it's women around. You're looking. It's a recipe for disaster. Ace says, "I'm ready to see the North Side prosper." I am too. I'm ready to see Black Milwaukee prosper, and like the entirety of foundational Black Americans who parents came here years ago as a result of the Great Migration to pursue some opportunity, or people who have been here who've come here themselves in look of opportunity. I want to see, in looking for opportunities, I want to see them flourish. But I think a seed has to be planted. And a lot of times the right message has to be conveyed. It
can be done. It can be done. And it's like you always say, economics.
I believe so. And so
y'all think everybody just gonna be healed automatically and be able to have financial literacy? Like I think you was right in the beginning, Kev, when you said a seed has to be planted. Yeah. And that's how we really have to look at it. Cause like this ain't nothing where it's like a light switch gonna be turned on and everybody good now. You know what I'm saying? I think this is something that we gradually have to grow into. You know what I'm saying? Like we got kids that's growing up, that's learning better to do better. You know what I'm saying? To take over this thing after behind us.
I agree.
No, I agree with you too. I don't, and I'm not one of those people who believes, like, I'm not going to put that much pressure on myself to say if somebody gave me a radio show on WNOV, I would heal Milwaukee.
I'm gonna fix everybody.
That would be asinine, right? Like you talking about 80, 90 years of dysfunction in terms of us being in this city, and poverty's effects. So, but when I say a seed has to be planted, I mean somebody has to start. Somebody had to get the ball rolling. So when we start to talk about empowerment, we start to tell Black people to start to invest in pride and invest in unity and invest in solidarity, and invest in family. And our most natural resources, which are our families, our children, our women, our community. I think that gets the ball rolling, and I think once that becomes popular, you get more people that join in with that sentiment, and then it just becomes part of a cultural norm.
Right.
it kind of starts to be, like I said, a cultural thing. So
Right.
I just
I
believe
think
that
we
all
already.
these seed needs to be planted. That's all.
Yeah, I think we already on the way. I always say it. You know what I'm saying? Like, depending on who you're around, you know what I mean? You'll see the ball starting to roll. Like, you see, like we talk about it, how more people are more conscious on doing business with each other. You know what I'm saying? People are more conscious of our people are more conscious of their health. You know what I'm saying? So our people are more conscious, are becoming more conscious of financial literacy. You see people talking about it more. And you know what I mean? So I think the ball is starting to roll. You know what I mean? It just took like you said, 90 years. Like, it may take 90 to get back. You know what I
Look,
mean?
but
Because it's generations that fuck shit up worse. So it's gonna take generations to get better.
the thing too, Kamar, like I noticed, like I saw, obviously I look at a lot of your social media shit. I love the way your videos are.
Thank you.
But the thing, you're welcome, man. Like you have my girl Tiffany up in there and shit, and I'm looking at this, and I know how health conscious she is and shit. And that's how come I'm like, you know what? This brother and his business, extremely important. And it's like you said, you are exactly what you're referring to. Kamari, your business is the seed. You're going to see before you die 20 or 30 other businesses within a 4 to 5 mile radius, just like yours.
Come
You're
on now.
you're gonna see some young brother or young sister and be like, they're gonna be like, man, Mr. Carter did that shit. I don't know what he did. And because of how open you are and how accessible you are, you're going to have young entrepreneurs coming to your store. It's going to be like an 18, 19-year-old
That's the
guy. He going
idea, man. That's the idea.
exactly. You
That's
going
part of my path. You know what I mean? It ain't for me to be the
yeah.
only person working in this lane. It's for me to help other people that's doing the same thing, so I can so the whole community flourish. I
Yeah,
can't do it
and
all
that's
by
what's going to
myself.
happen, bro. That's what's
Yeah,
going to
I can't
happen.
do it all by myself. I got a young brother I'm mentoring right now who do the same type of
Exactly.
stuff. You know
Just
what I
like
mean?
Mr. Martin, who started Lena's. That's
Yeah.
exactly what he did. He mentored multiple young men, and now they're all doing well in their own lives. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
I see it, man. I see it, bro.
It's coming, man. You know what I mean? That's why I said Kev was right. You know what I mean? About
Yeah,
planting the
yeah, he's
seed.
absolutely right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just that we got to plant the seed and then water it.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to John Fletcher. He's in the chat room. He said, "What up, Outlaw family? Express yourself.
Yeah.
Keep following the money and expose the truth. The system is the true kingpin." Right?
Carter
Well, yeah.
Drugs.
We're all slaves to the system, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's why I always try to tell people we are greater than the sum of our parts. Ace Cooley said, yes, cuz we have to make a part of a culture to at least attempt to be resourceful, educated, and helping each other out in the community. And Sharita says she's proud of you, Kamar. She remembers the beginning. I remember the beginning as well. So,
Yep, that's dope.
So, as a matter of fact, in my memories, one day I was just kind of scrolling through, and in my memories, one of the and it said 9-10 years ago, it was a show that we started called The Warrior Report, which was Kamar's when he first started to come on, when we first just started to get together to try and collaborate on some stuff. It was called The Warrior Report.
Yeah.
And so we were doing that at first. It was like a Tuesday. I was doing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I was doing like 4 or 5 days a week. And it was different shows. And the Warrior Report was one of them until I just said, you know what? I'm just going to consolidate, and I put everything under Outlaw Radio. We were doing Chocolate City. We was doing a bunch of different stuff. 3041 Live. I was just shooting every idea I had up into the atmosphere, trying to get something going when I first started, doing whatever you call it now, podcasting, internet radio. And that was probably 2014, 15, 16 in there. So it's been a long time, man. Been a long time.
And I was gonna say something in regard to far as Milwaukee. Just me being born and raised in Milwaukee, knowing the landscape and just understanding how things work. Now I've been gone a few years or whatever, but I got two guys, and they're they're pretty vast financially. They're pretty good. There's something that we're working on here, as far as in the mental health industry. And actually, and it looks like that might go pretty well. We can get the funding because we're going to be self-funded. The next thing is Milwaukee, because the one guy, he's a professional athlete, former professional athlete, and the other gentleman, and Kev, I called you with him on the phone once, and he loves Milwaukee so much, and he's willing to do certain things. He said, man, if we can figure out if we can have some type of business there, we just got to figure out exactly what it is. That means I would have to go back for a few months, live there again for a few months, just to kind of get a grasp of what's going on, to kind of go back and forth, or even if I just come every weekend. So that's something we're looking to try to do by 2030. But dude, Milwaukee and the reason I'm bringing that up is because everything you said, dude, Milwaukee has so much history. You have so many different things there. In regards to far as on some street stuff. Now, my cousin, his name is Calvin Greer. He's known as Shanti. He works on the Marvel movies now, and he's from Milwaukee, man, went to prison. We have a cousin by his name is Jerry Walker. Unfortunately, he's right now. I think Jerry's about to get released. I'm not sure. But like our family, our history is deep in Milwaukee on so many different spectrums. But the reason I'm bringing it up is there is so much potential there, because you have people that did shit that was wrong, that got fired, and you got so many people like us that do things that are right, where we can give back to the community. Because I think that even though, and I wish I could have did this 20 years ago, but obviously you don't know what you know now. There's so many, it's a young man or young woman right there. Like I grew up on, I lived on 13th and Capitol. I went to Phillip, and I grew up on 28th and Meineke as I got older. And man, it's so much potential. It's so many intelligent young people there that I just know for a fact, man, they're going to do great things. So what Kamar's doing, Kevin, Outlaw Radio, giving us all a platform to speak and share the message, I think is very important. And I really do see Milwaukee coming up. I know it sounds crazy, even though we got the leaders we got. And, as far as with Chevy being the mayor and everything, I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't really know his function. I don't know what he does. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what he does.
Listen. There's somebody listening to this show right now who's saying, "What the hell are they talking about? Milwaukee is a shithole."
No, it's not.
Ain't nothing going to happen in that city. And for the sake of playing devil's advocate, we know that there's some people saying right now, them niggas ain't gonna do shit, right? So I think stupid is as stupid does, right? So you're only as dumb as you think you are. Yeah. So if somebody tells you that you're dumb and you ain't gonna never be shit, and that you never get anything, you never get anywhere in life, you got one of two choices. Either you can believe it or not. You can believe it or not believe it.
Yeah, I get quiet. I don't say nothing.
I think Milwaukee is that thing. I think a lot of people, even the people who live here, because I have people who are from here who I talk to have moved out of town, and they remind me of how much better their lives are since they've left. And so I'm like, I'm never going to argue with a person or tell them, shut your ass up, you don't know what you're talking about. I trust and believe that you know where your life is. And if you have managed to find somewhere where you could go and be able to flourish, and it's not here, then I say go. I'm not one of those people who I don't work for the Milwaukee tourist attraction facility or foundation. I think you got to find yourself to be successful anywhere.
Yes.
I think you really got to be a person who's in tune with yourself. And sometimes, let's be honest, you hit a bump, you hit a fork in the road, you hit a situation where adversity is kind of overwhelming. It's really about how resourceful you are, how resilient you are, and if what you're willing to accept. A lot of times things happen to us because we're willing to accept them. Okay. So when you become non-progressive or you become counterproductive, sometimes it's because you've chosen, whether consciously or subconsciously, to accept that and say, well, this is my life. It's just what it is. I don't have any fight left. Some of us have been fighting for a long time and haven't seen a whole lot of victories. And so in Milwaukee, you have a lot of people who have been beaten down by a system that hasn't been beneficial to them for a very long time. And they're done fighting. They're all fought out. They're like, hey, whatever. It is what it is. So you have to keep that in mind. So, it's one of those things where I know people listen to the show and say, man, I don't know what the hell they talking about. Ain't nobody from here finna do shit. Well, you can sit in that and stew in it. I'm just a person who believes you're only gonna go as far as you want to go. You're only going to be who you want to be. And as long as you think you can't, then you can't. Any athlete will tell you, if you think you lost before the game start, you already lost. Right? Like, so you gotta have a frame of mind where you're like, I'm going out here to compete. And in competition, there's winners and losers. So, and just because you lose don't mean you should quit. So, that's Milwaukee in a nutshell. It don't look good, I'll tell you that much. Talking about some poverty, talking about some failing systems, public school system. We have problems with our youth, health wise, but I don't think that's just Milwaukee. I think that's the entire country. I think I say this, any place you go, any state, any place you go, if you go to the black part of it, where the majority of people, foundational Black Americans live, going to be a high level of dysfunction. And you're going to be like, what the hell? I thought I left Milwaukee. It's going to be the same thing. So, we have a lot to do as a group of people. We got a lot of work to do. Deion James, what up, man? Deion in the chat room, he said, man, I'm in this motherfucker. The conversation is about Black optimism, man. Like I said, we get, this is a small city in a white state. It's 87, 88% white in the state of Wisconsin, and 90% of the people of color who live in this state live in southeastern Wisconsin. So it's not a whole lot going on in terms of minority representation. And the state's governance reflects that. So, it's a, what do Earl call it? White-Consin? Mariah Johnson, what to do, cuz? Oh, she said, hey, what up, family? How you doing? It is Wednesday evening, man. It's the Hump Day edition of Outlaw Radio, foundational Black American conversations. Ian, you said earlier that you saw an individual who's very critical of FBA, saying that they're not pro-reparations. Well, I'm looking at Roland Martin, who has voiced a lot of opinions about FBAs over the years.
Yes.
Over the last few years, because he has a beef with Tariq Nasheed. I think Roland Martin is what I would define as a conformist.
That's a good word, Kev. I really agree with that. Yes, exactly.
He wants to fit into the system. He is a card-carrying Democrat. He is, he's a Divine Nine member. He's, somebody who's wanted to be part of systems, it seems like to me, for a very long time. I don't know about why somebody would say that foundational Black Americans don't support reparations, because I think one of the reasons to investigate the delineation movement is to self-identify, which is an important part of obtaining reparations. So I don't know why somebody would say that, but I think it's inaccurate.
Yeah, Kevin, because when I saw it, bro, I'm just like, man, and I know it's a white supremacist that has the page probably, but he put a lot of Black pictures, and he has a picture of a Black guy, as far as his page, but I'm just like, man, dude, it leads me to believe that we're on the right track, is my point. That's why I brought it up. Because usually when you get nonsensical pushback, bro, it always is racism. Like when it's something like, I always educate my kids on this, as well as family members. And I know this because I employ people. If you have issues on your job and you can't make any sense of it, you're always on time, you do your job, whatever, and you just have, for lack of a better way to put it, you have Ron, who just doesn't like you, or John, it is racism. Almost 9 times out of 10, and you'll figure it out. And I've been in those positions when I was younger. I do my job, boom, 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 never been late. And I had this one guy, his name is John, fucking hated me. Just for, you know what I'm saying? Always tried to really kind of come at me all the time. And then fast forward, because I'm good at digging, Kev, that motherfucker was part of white supremacist shit. He had fucking, them tattoos they be having. The motherfucker had that shit on his page. People think that when you put shit on the internet, it can go away just because you turn your page private. I just put his name, white supremacy, tattoos, because I saw a tattoo I thought was weird. Shit all came up, and he was, I don't have a problem with black people, but black people need to understand their place. Like he had posts like that. So, and he wasn't smart enough to have an alias. So, but my point in bringing it up is you're absolutely right. That's where we are, man. Like you have so many, you have so many people that just constantly act like being FBA is something wrong with it when there's nothing wrong with it. Every other group can self-identify, but when black people do it, it's a freaking problem, or we're racist, or we hate white people. You know what I mean? It's so bad, bro. Yeah, it's so bad.
I don't. So it's fine.
Yeah.
Like one thing, I believe everybody has the right to be who they want to be. You can identify however you want to. You can label yourself as whatever you want to. You're not going to see me argue with you about it. But I think it's crazy, like you said, that when other groups have gone out of their way to identify who they are, where they're from, what their lineage is, what their culture is, it's not an issue until you get a few black people saying, hey,
yep,
we keep saying us. Well, who's us? We keep saying power to the people. Well, who are those people? I think it's very important to be specific a lot of times. And if you are a person who can't really stomach the discussion of race and racism, then I think you're inherently ignorant or racist. It's one of the two. Like I don't like for a lot of people to discuss anything that's racial is an issue. And there's a lot of people who don't want to admit that the scales have been unbalanced in this country for a very long time for people of color, which is funny to me. Yeah. Because you got all you have to do is open up any history book and look at these periods of history. Yes. And read up on what was going on at the time. And then look at whatever policies or procedures were being applied to the foundational Black Americans during that time period. And they're usually oppressive or extortive or they're usually just abusive. So I don't know why it's such an issue for people to say, hey, there's been a major injustice done to foundational Black Americans in this country. And since we've given reparations to everybody else, we can go over there and give hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine because Russia attacked them. We didn't even do it. Russia did it.
Yes.
Why is it controversial to give reparations, structured reparations to a group of people who have, number one, contributed to everything that this country is built on? Every armed conflict, every cultural movement, every artistic movement, every social movement. Yeah. We have been the main contributors and innovators of it.
Yes.
And you can go and look at history and it'll tell you that. But what this country does is right now we're in the midst of a time period in which a lot of that history, there's an attempt to erase it or sweep it under the rug. And, what they said was, we don't want young white children feeling guilty because of this. Well, I feel like if they're going to be the future legislators and future leaders, they should feel guilty so that the way they legislate will be different as opposed to what their grandfathers and great-great-grandfathers did, because the further you go back in time, the more evil white people are.
Yes,
and
sir.
You can go and look it up. So, I mean, I don't mind putting that in people's faces. Like, I'm not so militant and extreme that I believe all white people are racist. I say this all the time.
You're intelligent. That's why
all white people are racist, but I do believe most white people are prejudiced. But me myself as a Black man, I'm a Black man who's prejudiced. I prefer my own. I want to see us win. I keep saying I don't care if it's a rock skipping contest. If it's a Black dude in it, I want him to win. So,
but the thing is, though, Kev, why wouldn't you?
Well, it's human nature to want to be with your own. I don't, but they don't want us to do it because they're scared of what might happen. Just think, man. You take a place like Wisconsin and a place like Milwaukee, and I think this is what I call the greatest conflict of interest, where if we start to deliver positive messages and we start to empower ourselves, what's going to happen is the prison population will go down. And that's going to affect northern Wisconsin. And so you're going to have northern Wisconsin experiencing what southeastern Wisconsin experiences, which is poverty. And I think because poor white people become poor white trash. and they become a lot of times more counterproductive than the hood. The trailer park is a lot of times worse than the projects, and they don't want that to be exposed. So you don't really
Never.
want us to be in power because it will affect so much change in this country in terms of who's being exploited and who's being incarcerated. And there's a lot of money made off of the misery of us when it comes to, as soon as a young person commits a crime, the tab starts collecting from the policemen that pick them up, to the public defenders, to the people who work in the courthouse, to the social workers, to the case managers. That money starts, that's billions of dollars generated off our misery. And they don't really want us to get ourselves some get right, because then how many people will start to lose their positions? And so, I think that's something to think about as well, is like, yo, do we really want these people to get any kind of understanding or empowerment? Because it could ruin a lot of people. It could ruin a lot of corporations, because if we really understand that our tax dollars drive this country and we start spending with ourselves, the economy will be in trouble. There'll be a lot of businesses. You think Foot Locker in trouble now? I mean, come on, man. Like, even overseas, all these sweatshops overseas that make these $15 Jordans that we charge $400 for, and we line up around the corner to buy them. Like, a lot of corporations would be in trouble if black people said, you know what, let's get our shit together. And so I think that's why there's such a interference. There's such a flag thrown on the play when black people say, wait a minute, hey, y'all, let's get together and figure this out. They don't want that shit. That goes all the way back to Gay Edgar Hoover, who said, we don't ever want a black messiah. We don't want anybody to lead these people, because they could become something that we could never, ever be able to deal with in this country. So
is it, and I look at it a certain way. Like, the one thing I will say, the Sicilian Mafia did shit really good far as in regard to organizational. Can you imagine if you start in your city, you get the 6 most prominent blocks, motherfuckers spend the most money or whatever, not on drugs or no dumb shit, whatever. You get them and be like, okay, there's a certain person that's going to open up a clothing store, a drug store, and a grocery store in your area. Go there. And you just do that over the next few years. It can be done, bro, but it's like you were saying, motherfuckers really got to whatever. And I will say this though, like Kamar, where he is, he gonna be responsible for a few entrepreneurs, because I know he's got the one kid he's mentoring or whatever, man. But that kid gonna fucking talk to other people. It's coming, dude. Like, in the next 20 or 30 years, I really believe that shit. And it's actually gonna be funny, because look at how many black people that just went to the Republican Party in regard to politics, right? So that's something we never thought we'd see. So a lot of them, because they're smart, they're going to see, oh, man, these Republicans don't give a shit about us anyway. They're going to go independent.
Well, some of them. There's always
no. I know. I'm just being
always going to be some Stockholm syndrome going on.
Well, yeah, it's going to be that. But the thing is, though, you're going to have more motherfuckers than not to really start just being smarter and be like, you know what? Man, I'm going to learn more about how money works. And if they figure out how money works, dude, it's over, dog. That's my opinion. I think that's gonna happen, and be, it might not happen in our lifetime, but that shit coming.
Ace says, I used to listen to Roland Martin quite a bit until I started seeing him more dedicated to Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party than black people. He said, we have a few skin folk that ain't kinfolk. Yeah, I mean, it's, you get a position and it starts to make you kind of alter your perspective.
Yeah.
A says they get offended because we've always been the worker bees that were forced to work for little or nothing.
Yep.
The FBA have patronized immigrant businesses, and they have sent that money back to their countries. We have funded the world with little scraps we have, with no appreciation. Yeah, we've in this country, that's another thing that we have to empower ourselves on becoming, is we have to stop being such big. We're customers. We're most of the time consumers and rarely ever owners. And so that's something that has to change as well. We have to start to own something. I always say, like, everybody has their cottage industry. What is ours, right? Like, so, our communities are infiltrated when Arabs come in and purchase gas stations, and Asians come in and purchase air supply stores. And, we got Arabs selling us fried chicken wings. We should have some cottage industries that we can corner the market on. We just don't. And so if anything, that I love what Kamar's doing, and a lot of other brothers and sisters is they are looking at wellness, and they're embracing the whole thing when it comes to sea moss and vitamins, and telling us
Yes.
that we need to change our diets, and which is a great place to start. But if we can just corner that market, if we can say these is what we do, these are the industries that we control or that we dominate, that's a step in the right direction. We just haven't yet. We still got
Now,
rap music though, right?
no, exactly. And it's funny
Which we don't even own, so whatever.
and it's funny you said that because, like, for instance, I share certain things, so I'll kind of go into detail of what I'm doing right now. So I've started a real estate portfolio. Now, I don't have enough money to go in right now by myself because it's just me to go in and just be like, oh, I'm gonna get a couple of apartment buildings and things like that. Because I got a buddy who he got like 75 properties. Man, this brother, he living so good. So I'm like, man, I don't got the money to do that, but I got the money to buy some of these trailers and trailer parks, and then I can rent the shit out. So actually today, and one of the reasons, Kevin, when you sent the link, I had to go charge the car. I had to go to Chase because I had to put a down payment on a trailer. The trailer is worth like I don't say it's a trailer, it's a mechanical home. It's like 11 G's. So I went and put the money down on that, and it'll be paid off in 2028. So once I pay that off, then I just pay the taxes and whatever, and I'm gonna buy another one. And then, I'm gonna buy another one like a year and a half after that. So my point is, you got to get in where you fit in. And that's that shit I be talking about. Like, for instance, I got my cleaning business. I got 2 clients. We straight, you know what I'm saying? We could try to get better. But I know as far as the business, as far as the area I'm in, it's all health conscious and shit like that. So I'm starting something called Just Greens. Where, because we got collard greens and turnip greens. And you're going to laugh when I say this. I had a pot of greens. I got the recipe from my mother. So they turnip greens or whatever, right? So I took them to my office and I let my staff have some and shit like that. Dog, they was loving it. And I was shocked because they're not black people. As far as my whole staff, the only people that are black are the business owners that do contractor work, because like the people that literally work for us, they're all Mexican or white. But as far as, the people that come in and they do business with me specifically, they're black. So I gave it to them. They're like, oh, what's this? What's this? Is this spinach? And I'm like, no, it's collard greens or whatever. They're like, oh, man, is that kale? Whatever. So I'm just like, man, I'm going to set up shop. I'm going to go ahead and start doing that too, because as far as in regard to a peddler's license, because you don't need a kitchen or anything to make like greens, salads and shit like that. You can just go ahead and do that. I'm like, man, so that's another business I'm going to start probably by the end of 2026. But my point in bringing it up, we got to just get in where we fit in. And like and honestly, the health thing and like what Kamar and people like him are doing in regard to that, dude, that shit is cracking, especially on the West Coast. Out here, it's cracking, bro. Like people are so conscious because, especially with greens, like I had one of the people when they were trying the greens, they were looking up health benefits and they were like, oh my God, it cleans out your system. It does this, it does this, it does this. And they were like, where can I buy it? I'm like, you can't buy it nowhere because we make it. So now that's another business. So yeah, man, that's my point. Like bringing some of that back to Milwaukee, because I do believe that if you can present it a certain way, because it's all in presentation, I think, man, I'm really believing it, man. I see big things from Milwaukee because you got a lot of real estate there. You have so many houses that are just able to be lived in. You go in there with a good investor, and if they can go ahead and maybe buy a block and a half or 2 square blocks of abandoned buildings, get them from the city, get discounts if they can go ahead and put people in there, as far as on general assistance. I don't know how the whole thing works. I'm just kind of coming off the dome. If you can do that, bro, you can start a real estate portfolio for like somebody that's already rich is what I'm saying. Or if you come in with a group of investors, that can go well. And I think Milwaukee is actually a prime spot for it. That's why, like me and my 2 guys, we were talking about it. It's a prime location. It's perfect, but dude, it's going to take millions. Like you got to go in there with like 15 to 20 million. If you do it right, you'll see the crime go down, everything. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. That's
Um,
just what we were talking about. So I don't know, man.
well, we just talked about empowerment. So financial empowerment is definitely something
Yeah.
that needs to happen. Ruben Anderson is in the chat room. He said, "What's good, brothers? How you doing?" Ruben, I
So,
had referenced this murder this past weekend of his brother, this 40-year-old brother,
I hope he called.
outside of an establishment on 64th and Fond du Lac. I seen you had some stuff that you were talking about on Facebook. I wanted you to call in to tell
Yeah.
us what happened. He said everything y'all saying is on point. We appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Earl Henny says Sambo will always be around in America, of course. Um, this is Ernest Walk. He's Ernest Walker. He said Walk's World. What up, Ewalk? How you doing? But yeah, Ruben, we wanted to just know some more of the details behind this, and then we know that there was a 50-year-old who was arrested in regards to this murder. So I know you had. I said normally Ruben Anderson is on top of it because he works very closely with the families um, of that are dealing with this victimization and losing people. But I hear what you're saying, Ian, in terms of you know economic development. But see, and that's one of the things. Now, see, our mayor is working with one of his initiatives right now is to deal with the reckless driving. So you got these safe streets initiatives, and so what they're looking at is just redefining the infrastructure of our streets, making narrower streets, doing the bump outs and these kinds of things, which I guess is one place to start.
They do it here. It works.
I know that when you drive past a lot of these bump outs here, there's spare parts on them. It's fenders and rims and car parts, and the signs that are on them are knocked down. I know that is one of the issues, and I don't, shout out to him for trying to do something to make narrower streets and put more bump outs and alter our roadways is one way to do it. I mean, I got to give him credit for at least attempting to do something outside the box. I just wish he would put the same focus on economic development in the city. So when you hear a brother like Ian talking about uh, development of real estate,
Yes.
and changing the faces of neighborhoods, I wish that there were more opportunities for minority investors in this city.
Just give us
Somebody,
tax breaks.
somebody like Kamar and the rest of the entrepreneurs that he rocks with to say, hey, yo, here's some specific programming for y'all to boost y'all. Shout out to my cousin Angela Mallet, who
Hey, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of programs going on at the Sherman Phoenix. If they just tap in to the Sherman Phoenix website, it's all
okay.
type
Yeah.
of business programs. You know what I mean? You just starting up. You know what I mean? You need some help, how to set it up, all that.
See, and I want to add real quick too. If they could make the tax, if they could just do maybe not even, I'll say for 8-quarter forgiveness. If they let you get 2 years to where you can go in there, you're 70-30, where you do 70% your own financing, 30% state, depending upon your business, and they let you come in there and do it, people would do that tomorrow. That's how come I think that some of this shit is by design. Because if you just have people like, if you come in there, I'm talking about real deal, liquid, you 150,000 to where you can pay your staff or whatever. You know how that shit go. They want to know if you can pay your staff for a certain amount of time. And then far as net worth being like at least high 5 figures or mid 6 figures, they'd have people coming there tomorrow, y'all. They would. And I don't understand why, like Milwaukee, I don't know if anybody's done that, so I don't want to make accusations. But it just seems to me like, man, because I can convince the people I know, I can convince 2 people right now, dog, look, you go in there, you'll get a tax break, homie. Boom, boom, boom. Jump in there with this business and you'll be straight. But I don't know, man.
Well,
Like,
one,
I don't,
one
what
of
is
the one of the
Milwaukee
things we
doing to
talked
invite
about,
business? I'm
one of the
sorry.
things
Go
we
ahead.
talked about on the show months ago was the fact that the cost to live here, just as a citizen, in terms of taxes and fees and the parking
Yes.
tickets and all this kind of stuff, there's more focus on that than there is of saying, hey, let's bring some stuff there so that people can make some money. I feel like
Yeah.
their focus is to make us spend money that we don't have, as opposed to saying, let's bring some shit here The average person, and that's what once upon a time made this city something great, is where the average person could move here, get a job, and have a sustainable income. So
Yes.
it was coming in so that they could maintain their family or start a business or invest in something.
You got
So,
the entrepreneurs right there. I done
well,
met so many of them. I grew up with them. You got the entrepreneurs right there, bro.
well,
I
extra
agree.
income encourages an entrepreneurial spirit for sure.
Yes.
When you have a sustainable income, you do say, you know what, I want to take some of this money and invest it, because what you want is your money to make money for you. So that is one of the black eyes on this city, is that we as foundational black Americans are not included in terms of opportunities for financial benefits. And I
Yes.
think white people here show you all the time that they produce opportunities for each other to invest and make money and do business together. And we just kind of get left, because I don't know why that there's just belief that we enjoy being poor. Maybe it's because we celebrate it musically, or maybe it's because artistically sometimes it seems as if this is what we enjoy. Like we talk about hip hop music on here a lot, and I look at hip hop now, and it's unrecognizable to me in terms of what it once stood for and what it once symbolized. You look at what this Offset shot at the casino the other last night before last, and there's another rapper involved. You see the thing with Gucci Mane, and he's getting kidnapped and robbed, and you don't see hip hop do anything progressive or positive today. I
That's
look at
by design.
all of the petty beefs. I look at T.I. and 50 Cent going at each other. You know, and that beef happened while we were on hiatus. And I was just shaking my head the whole time, like, wow, this is crazy. What people
That shit, I'll say it. That shit was fucking stupid, bro. And I'm like, dude, that made me so mad, Kev, that I didn't like any of that. But far as to touch on what you were talking about, far as the economic aspect, I'm sorry, man. Milwaukee is prime. Milwaukee is prime to go to the next level, just because it's so many intelligent young men and women there. I'm sorry, man. Man, you have so many young people that if they understood, how to start a business, like what Kamar was saying in regard to, oh, you have these these things available for you as far as on the educational level. I really see it, dude. And one of my goals before I die, no bullshit, is to go back to Milwaukee and just do some stuff, because I remember when I was young, you had Lena's, you had Carter Drugs. Like, my mom knew Mr. Carter. I went there and I talked to him quite a few times. That gentleman was so intelligent, and it actually helped shape my life. All of these people that were there back in the day specifically, all they talked about was ownership. You know what? They're so intelligent. And that's why, like with Kamar specifically, he's a throwback. As far as you yourself, you're a throwback. You're about the educational aspect of all of these things. Dude, Milwaukee is not a lost cause. When people say that shit, I'm not saying it's dumb, but when people say that, I think they're being short-sighted. Real estate is the one thing that God's not making any more of. The more you buy and the more you own, you can turn it into whatever. Like, I was going to ask you to remember Steel Tech, because I lived right behind Steel Tech. What's going on with Steel Tech, bro? Because I meant to ask you that though, Kev. Like, what's going on with Steel Tech right now?
That's been gone. That went, and it started off. It shifted. It went from public to private. That's been gone.
I was confused about that, bro. Like, what are they? So, what, they demolished the buildings that were there, or what did they do to that?
I believe they went out of business, because I don't.
No, I believe that.
where that building was, I don't see that there. I haven't heard that name. Nobody even talks about that anymore. Ace is in the chat room. He says, "Shit, Kev, the Jews own the banks. They will get loans and won't have to pay a cent in interest. Let alone at this time they see." He said, "Let alone at this time they are engaged in debt." I think he's saying.
Where is that?
They are engaged in deed theft in New York and New Jersey with black homeowners, and the authorities ain't doing shit.
Ace got the background in the mortgage industry too. He said deed theft. That's actually fucked up. Yeesh.
Ace Cooley, this is Ace Cooley said, yes, the T.I. and 50 Cent beef was so silly, as well as the Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb shit.
No.
And Earl said, talking about people's mother will always be a problem. Well, once again, I think this whole internet thing, mousepad mobsters, keyboard killers, this whole thing has been an issue for years. A lot of brothers are just messy on like the internet has made brothers messy, man. Like, you go on the internet, you say somebody's name, you got beef here and there, you see, and 50 Cent he has a problem with everybody. Like, he goes at Mano and Jim Jones and Dave East for their podcast. You don't own the building. And, I see him and T.I., 50 Cent, like I said, aside from moving very smartly as a businessman, he's a very messy individual. Like, he's
way too messy,
petty,
bro.
King Petty. Like, you got beef with everybody. Like, I was listening to Floyd Mayweather say that how close they were. And he's saying while I was, when he was incarcerated, he's saying, when I came home, he had made business moves on behalf of my company, and basically was telling me I had to include him in what I was doing moving forward. So he was saying that basically he was trying to muscle his way in. And when I resisted, it became this beef. And that was the end of our friendship. But he said the whole time when I was incarcerated, he was helping out, and he was saying he was doing it as a friend, as a brother, because we had been so cool. We had been so close. So, and I don't know that brother personally. I just feel like if you got beef with everybody, all the time, you're the problem. That's just my perspective. I just feel like it ain't everybody else, it's you. Like, you can't.
Yes.
Hey, listen, I agree with you, but at the same time, I feel like he got beef with everybody from New York from when his career started. They blackballed him. Only person fucked with him was Jam Master Jay.
You talking about Fifth,
Jam
right?
Master Jay had to shop him on the West Coast to put him on, to get him put on. So
OG, you talking about
he
Fifth?
had beef when he had beef. Y'all ready?
No, I was just asking.
Go ahead.
You talking about Fifth? Yeah, you talking about Fifth, right?
Yeah, that's what we talking about, right?
Yeah. Because I didn't hear the other part.
I was saying that, you know what I mean. He had beef with everybody since he came in his career. I feel like, like I said, motherfuckers was blackballing him. Only person fuck with him was Jam Master Jay, and then he had to shop him on the West Coast because wasn't nobody fucking with him over there. So, like, I think if I felt like all you motherfuckers was trying to hold me back, I'm gonna have a problem with all y'all too. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, like, some of the shit that he done got into it with some people, but a lot of them motherfuckers, like them big heads, like Puffy, Jay-Z, all them motherfuckers, you know what I mean? And Jim Jones, all them motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? They all talked their shit and had their turn and did what they had to do.
Hey, OG, I want to chime in on that because
he done got shot up and everything.
Dog, and it's funny you say that though, OG, because there's so many motherfuckers that don't understand Fifth's perspective. Don't get me wrong, he's not a perfect individual, but he'll tell you that.
Yeah, I ain't saying he right or wrong.
No, I'm with you. No, I agree with you, and that's why it's funny you said that, because I had motherfuckers that were so on T.I.'s side and everything. I'm like, bro, I followed it, and I do research, dude. Fifth hadn't said shit about Dude in months, and I'm not exonerating 50 Cent. I know how he is. He troll, whatever. But, dude, there was an interview where they was asking Tip something, and this is exactly what Tip said. Tip said, yeah, Fifth had a problem with this and this and this. We were going to do a versus, and he said he would do it. Then he said he wouldn't. Bro, every artist on Aftermath said they would, and I watched Eminem say this. I watched 50 Cent talk about this, and I read an article where Dre referred to this, where they said they don't do that. 50 Cent, because of how he is, he literally said when you do, a versus, he just felt like he wasn't knocking anybody. He felt like you're at a low point in your career. And this is while he was doing the Get Rich or Die Trying tour. Tip because Tip is a brilliant businessman himself. He brought it up because he knew that would be added in the algorithm. I know the nigga said it because I follow both of them. So I was like, okay, when he said it, and then he tried to play victim. And far as on the flip side, Fifth should have never put nothing up about his wife. You know what I'm saying? I understand why Tip got mad about that. Yeah, I understand why he got mad.
See, this is the thing. Well, so the issue with what happened to him in his career in New York.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was a street beef that he had with Supreme McGriff.
Supreme and them. Yeah, that was deep.
That was street business. I understand that. And I understand his bitterness for that. And I understand that he, in terms of his record deal that he did get through Jam Master Jay, and I believe Atlantic was the label that basically Jam Master Jay got him out of his deal. But his initial impression on the industry was how to rob an industry nigga, in which he did a song talking about robbing.
I see where you're going with it, kid. We finna disagree.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And this ain't about
I'm messing with you.
Because I don't have anything personal against him. I don't know him.
No, for sure.
But I just for me on the outside looking in, that's how you came in the game. There was a lot of blowback to making that song. So whether he got blackballed or not, I just think when you look at every beef now, social media, internet beef, he's involved, and I think he's got enough money and had enough success to move on from a lot of the pettiness. But
I agree with you on that.
That's who he is, and that's fine. That's fine. I don't want to take a whole lot of time talking about somebody who got 100 million more dollars than I do. My personal opinion is that it's always him behind it. Now, even in my chat room, people Sharita said, 50 my nigga, quit playing with petty people.
She ain't gonna stop. I love
a lot of people love that brother. So, he has a lot of people who support him. This is Ace. He said, you got to remember, he creates beef to put a lot of people on. He does it to get certain people noticed. He calls it a layup. He really doesn't have beef. Okay. This is Ace. He says, if you're a woman with 7 kids, you have 5 baby daddies, then you're the problem. Okay. I don't know what woman he's talking about with 5 kids, 7 kids and 5 baby daddies. She said, many men listen to it. I love Many Men. It's one of the songs that he done that I like. He says, Ace says he did it to Rotimi, the Caribbean brother that played in Power. Yeah, I seen him at one point. He was going after everybody who owed him money. Like,
hold on. I gotta ask both of you brothers a question really quick. It actually it makes sense. It's applicable. Get Rich or Die Trying. Top 10?
Not for me.
I'm saying album, not 50 as an artist.
Not for me. Not for me. Not for me. Not for me.
OG?
Nah.
What?
I think that album's overrated as well. Like, I've heard a lot of people.
Wait a minute. Get Rich. That's the first one? Or the
second? No, not the very first one. The one he did with like Dre and
that's his first major. That's his most successful.
His first major one. Yeah, the one that we all knew.
I like that album. I don't if it was in my top 10, it'd be around 9 or 10.
That's good. What you think, Kev? And that's why I brought it up.
Because I have a hard time even putting that in my top 20.
Real quick, hold on.
I don't.
Can you give us a rundown of what your top 20 might be?
I don't have that offhand right now. I would have to take time.
No, I got you. We'll do it one day. I'm just curious
about 35 plus years. You talking about me listening to rap music since 1978?
No, bro. Like,
I don't have it off the top of my head.
Don't get me wrong, because you got.
I know I can name 20 hip hop albums that I love and adore that are classic rap albums, and that wouldn't be one of them.
No, and that's not a knock, because Ice Cube got 5 of mine that are in the top 25 of all time. So I get you. That's another conversation.
There's so much ground to cover. It's so much ground to cover when you talk about hip hop. Like, so, we got a bunch of different places and times and spaces where I just don't see that album standing up to some of the other stuff that I've listened to over the years. I don't. It wasn't a bad album. I just don't.
No. You're not knocking it, but I'm just saying, name one album that you think is better than that, though. I'm just curious.
I could take something like UGK Riding Dirty And
That's a good album.
like
No, you're right. That's a good album.
there's nothing that could possibly that 50's ever done that could come close to that. Even New York wise, reasonable doubt.
Damn, that's
Not
good.
even
That's
50's
good.
that
That's
album
good.
is not even close to. It's not even close. Like take
No,
Nas
I
and
can
Test-
argue that, but we can do that on another show. But yeah, no. Jay-Z
take
first album
Nas's
is
first
fucking
album.
crazy,
Take
bro.
Nas's first album. Like I don't,
All
come on.
right. Stop. You killing
Illmatic.
me right
Like
now.
we're there's so once again, there's so
Stop.
much ground to cover. You take
You killing me right now because
Kane,
man,
long live the Kane. Take this is Sarita saying, do I like KRS-One? Of course. Take
Chris is cold too, though.
take any means necessary. BDP.
Ooh.
What 50 Cent did on Get Rich or Die Trying. For me. This is for me. Not even close to
But
none
that's
else.
why they but the thing is though, Kev, that's why they do top 100. You know what I'm saying? Because Get Rich or Die Trying is good, but if you look at Rakim. Remember the album that he dropped, the double disc where he didn't curse? Like that album is good too, bro. I'm
never
just
listened
saying.
to that one. I let the rhythm hit him or
Take the pin out the hand grenade. Rakim had some good ones, man. He really did. It was actually kind of amazing.
Rakim album that I was really on was him and Eric B. So
him and Eric B did some good work.
This is Ace. He said y'all crazy. 50's first album was popping. It led to the game's documentary. They were both popping.
Well, I agree with Ace.
Yeah, that doesn't make it top 20 of all time.
But modern era, it is top 20. Modern era.
I can't get a top 20 from modern era. I can't get a top 20 out of modern era.
Nah, I'm saying all time though. No. Yeah, I agree with you all time though.
She said I'm in this is Sarita. She said I'm instilled in being a 5%. I love the diversity.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Who is this? Is this Ruben? I got a brother on. I got a caller on the line. Caller, who is this?
Oh, this is Ruben.
Ruben, what's going on, man?
Nothing. Was having dinner. My bad.
It's all good, man. I just wanted to. I had asked earlier that you called because we were discussing the details of the brother who lost his life over the weekend on 64th and Fond du Lac. And I seen that you had put up a post, and it seemed like you had some inside information on this whole situation. So I wanted you to kind of elaborate on it.
Yeah, first of all, Trail was has been a part of our family for over 20 years. He has 2 kids by my cousin, Dominique Prophet. So, we've been close. He stayed with me in South Carolina for a while. But anyway, I guess that night, Trail stopped in to go use the bathroom, and Mr. Calhoun was in there. There had been a dispute over a girl, and Mr. Calhoun got beat up, from my understanding. And then they were both escorted out. Trail was sent out a side door, but Mr. Calhoun was sent out the front door. And as Trail was walking, Mr. Calhoun shot him in the back. When he saw Mr. Calhoun stand up over him and shoot him an additional 11 times. So that's the information that came out here based on a situation with a girl, as they say. But what's troubling in this whole thing is the fact that Mr. Calhoun frequents this place. So he knows the bouncer. He knows this. So how would you evade them by bringing a gun into the club, or what the gun do to you? With no gun pulled in the club. And I guess it was a minute after Trail went out, he was let out. So the question is, did y'all give him the gun? Because word has it, and I can't confirm it because I haven't seen it for myself, but the gun was thrown back into the club. So, so how that happened after he did what he did. So that's just a big question, about what's going on with it. But, they caught him right away, though. We predicted that. We know he was going to come. I got like 49,000 K hits on him. About 385 inboxes about him, knowing he was living in Houston and all this other stuff. But he was apprehended, and I thank everybody out there that, that went to bat, whoever it was. You did a good deed, and it will come back on you later on in life, and I know it will. So he's locked up. So now we just looking for the other people that need to be there.
Okay, so now seeing as how your family member was murdered outside the establishment, do you and yours support them being closed down now? You think that this is? I mean, obviously, there's still
Yeah.
some investigation that needs to be
Well,
done to figure out what role was played by the employees of the establishment.
Well, I think that immediately, and this is at any establishment, if there's a loss of life, then that license should be pulled right away, and y'all should appear before the proper council members, you know what I'm saying, to give account for what you've done. That just because the owner went on and put up a post and, made these comments like, he didn't talk about nothing, in my opinion. I can't even talk about his comments. We're talking about nothing. He should have been closed down, period. I mean, and that's the way it should be. In any establishment, especially those in high crime areas. That's what I posted. So yeah, I mean, yeah, y'all know what y'all was doing. There's policies and protocols in place when people get into a fight. First of all, call the police if that's what you got to do. But you also make sure that one of the combatants, have cleared the parking lot and gone about his business so that you can release the other one. So the way they played that was weird, and it traverses a wide range of questions and issues that they got to answer.
Okay, so the procedures in terms of, so if there's a physical altercation inside the establishment, and I hear you on saying, before we let this dude out, let's make sure the other dude is gone, right? Like, let's, somebody should be escorting him to his car. So
that's right.
Okay, I understand that. So,
and then you got your you got your bouncers or whatever. Somebody got to be outside patrolling the place to make sure that that even the clientele is being protected. Even when they're not out there, have security outside. There's nothing out there. Cameras are not enough. So there are questions, but the bigger question that looms is how close was he with dude to let him out the front door, and how close was he with everybody? Because that's where he frequented, So that's where I'm at with that. But yeah, they should be shut down. I'm surprised they ain't did nothing about it yet. Nobody talking about it, But once again, you live in the city of Milwaukee, and I'm not trying to be dogging on my city. I love my city, but leadership is weak, unfounded, and lack any level of intelligence. If you ask me, they lost in the game, don't know what to do. So, it's just so. What trail is there? It's personal, but it's not uncommon that we see this every day. So all it does is kind of like ignite a fire in me, like, Dad, what can we do? Because, I'm not going to keep y'all, but it's just on my heart tonight. What we going to do? You don't see anybody, and I don't know why. Maybe just they don't have the courage to get out in the community and actually be out there and make a difference in the lives of people every day, not just sometimes feeling hot dogs and Kool-Aid and all that old get clothes, get back, but every day communicating with your people. Whether you're having prep rallies outside the school for these bad kids, get at them, anything. But, I'm upset with the body of Christ for that. I'm upset with leadership about that because you watch the city just drown in all of this hurt and pain, and you ain't doing nothing about it. And it just bothers me. It's just on my heart tonight, But it would trail. There's nothing we can do to bring him back. All we can do is hold dude accountable. He already locked up. Let him go and sit out his time. He already had an open case for gun possession. So you ain't coming nowhere soon. They're gonna drop that. And they still gonna drop the needle on you. They still gonna put it on you. Yeah. So that's what I see.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I know, like, anytime I see you elaborate on, because I know you always got your finger on the pulse of what's going on a lot of times. So I'm like, you know what? I want to see what Brother Ruben got to say about this. And I had talked about this on Monday when we didn't know any of the specifics. We didn't know the ins and outs. There were some stories that said it happened inside. There was some stuff, there was some stories about this fight and all this kind of stuff. So shout out to you for making sure that we have, the valid information on what actually happened. I'm happy that that this brother's been apprehended. And I echo your sentiment that I feel like our leadership should be doing something else in terms of how we police this city for violence prevention. But also at the same time, we as men got to stop and check ourselves, because a lot of times our egos get the best of us. And there's no way, no how, no brother should ever be taken off this earth because of a female. or an argument or debate or some kind of disagreement over a female,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, all you
Yep.
do is let the woman make the decision and live with it. Baby, who you want, me
Yeah.
or him? So, and it's not about me
You
fighting
know,
with you or killing you. So, that's
that's
always
right.
strategy. So,
But in the real world, people would think like that, and I know, and we have to go up. But in a real world, they think like that. These dudes don't think like that because they ain't nothing more than just broken men trying to find themselves. They're boys masquerading around as men, if I should really say it. And they broken. Ain't nobody out there, really talking to them about it. They ain't gonna talk about their pain. All we see is their actions. So, until we start engaging and engaging daily, not just some time, and then for the church to stop, come from outside the walls and get outside and do what you do. If you want to be like Jesus, then get out and do what his disciples do. That's just my opinion. But I'll let you go, man. You have a good night.
appreciate you, brother. Always a pleasure.
Love, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ruben, man. He's always a great contributor to our show. I always appreciate his perspective, and his investigative work, because a lot of times he knows what the interiors and the ins and outs of things look like in terms of issues we have with violence in the community here. So rest in peace to that brother, man. Prayers and condolences to his family, his children, and prayers to the family of the brother who did it too, because his life is over too, because he's about to go and do football numbers. And who knows what's going in terms of karma, what's going to happen once he get behind them walls if he run across acquaintances of the brother who he took. But I want to get back to hip hop a little bit. I love to talk about hip hop. I am going to try and get my brother, who was on Sirius XM, who did the Planet of the Tapes. I'm going to try to get him back on here. We're still friends because he's a New York guy, and we always have great conversations about hip hop. And I'm having a hard time remembering his name. So I'm having a brain fart in that regard. But he's been on here before, so we're gonna try to get him back on here. But I mean, I realize a lot of people did like a 50 Cent's album, Get Rich or Die Trying. Obviously, it sold buku copies. The question that was asked from Ian was it in either of our top 20? Now, I did say that hip hop is very, very, very subjective, meaning it's personal. And so when I say, hey, not for me, that was really just me coming from my own perspective. That wasn't me saying it was trash or you stupid if you don't believe that, or it was just me saying it didn't register with me like some other things that I've listened to, or some other rap records that I've heard over the years that I feel like were impactful or high quality to myself. So, but I do think the state of hip hop right now is really, really bad. I think it's in a very sad place. And I look at YouTube. I'm on YouTube so much, and I'm watching all of these podcasts, and I'm watching all these hip hop people who are involved in the industry, and I don't see any of them who are really saying anything of substance.
Nothing.
Or I don't hear the messages. And see, I'm not stupid enough to think we're going to turn the clock backwards and go back to what it used to be. But I think there still should be left messages that are conveyed on a higher level right now. And I don't see the music. I don't see the artists collectively trying to push a narrative of positivity. I feel like we capitalize on most of the most negative things when it comes to hip hop in terms of sexuality and misogyny and with the women, especially. Like hip hop, I say right now, is responsible for a lot of young ladies who are misinformed and misguided right now, and they're gonna grow into adults misguided and misinformed about relationships and about self-love and
that's by design.
And when it comes to sex and sexuality, I feel like hip hop has just kind of really dropped the ball. There's so much ambiguity in terms of sexuality and embracing of homosexual agendas and stuff like that. So it's nowhere near the same art form as it was, and it's not revered like it used to be either. So I think it's in a bad place. I think we need a wave of new artists to come in that are underground artists, not pop artists, but even hip hop radio is. Look, I mean, it's trash. You listen to the songs and it's like, dude, like it's, iHeart Radio might be the worst thing that ever happened to hip hop because they repeatedly play the worst shit that's out. And so, those are the messages that they they pump up. And I know that's by design too. But I just, as a person who grew up on rap and hip hop music, I look at it now and I say, this is horrible. Like this is nowhere near for me what it was. Now for young people, they might say, man, old ass dude, it ain't for you no more. So go sit your old ass down. It's still cracking. I get it. They might be saying that. You know, the energy and the emphasis and the momentum is always in the feet of the young people. But I would say I haven't heard a classic hip hop album in years. I thought what Killer Mike started a couple years ago when he won the Grammys, I thought he was moving the needle back into a positive direction. I love the song Scientists and Engineers. I thought that's where we were going. And Andre 3000 said, I ain't got nothing to rap about. I don't want to rap no more. I'm too old.
Yeah.
I'm still listening to that Big Mike album.
Killer Mike, I'm talking about.
Yeah, Killer Mike. Yeah, that. I'm still listening to that album. Now that one is also on my top 10.
Okay, the whole album, the one that he just done. Okay,
that whole album, that whole Killer Mike album was the shit.
Never heard the whole thing.
Front to back, man. Front to back. You won't be disappointed. Trust me.
I had to check it out. Dion is on the line. I'm almost scared to answer the call when I see Dion's name.
Wow. I'm smooth, man, y'all. I ain't on nothing. I don't even, I've been listening to y'all. I've been so diverse, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Dion, I'm gonna open my phone line when I do my show and let you just talk.
You had a little taste. You don't had a little taste tonight. Just yes or no. Yes or no.
I'm gonna let you do your thing when I do my thing. I'm gonna let you just talk, bro.
Yeah, you don't have a little taste. You don't have a little taste. But yeah, I gotta chime in and enjoy with you guys fellowship, man. You been gone, Kev, man. So while you here, motherfuckers gotta enjoy it, man. Chop it up. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's all, man.
What's on your mind, man?
I really ain't. It really ain't too much on my mind, man. Still hate all the Trump supporters, and just you hear, I was hearing y'all talk about Roland earlier, for one. I like Roland. I do like Roland. You know what I'm saying? I do. I don't agree, like I said, with I don't know. I don't be into it, but the foundational Black Americans, I just, maybe I'm going to have to learn a little bit more about it before I be like, I'm FBA. You know what I'm saying? I just feel, I don't even go off the African American thing too much. I just be like, I'm Black. You know what I'm saying? But I'm really an American, so I'm an American, so. But I do like Roland Martin. I listen to him, But, when you just keep on listening to everything, it'd be so different, so many different perspectives. I just seek knowledge. And basically, I don't feel like I should have to gravitate to any of that. I don't like the Africans. I don't like the Africans. Don't like the Mexicans. I just feel like we as Black Americans, and I guess you can say foundational Black Americans, but what does the foundational mean as in Black Americans, though? You feel what I'm saying, though? Like, that's the part with me where it's like foundational. And, then you have to go in the Webster Dictionary and there's so many different meanings. But, I feel like I'm for us. I feel like I'm for us, though. I'm not for the Congolese.
Check this out. So foundational, I'm going to tell you what foundational is. I spent the better part of my day today, actually, and this is coincidental. My daughter she's big in terms of trying to understand and know about where we come from as a family. And she spent a lot of time on, was it Ancestry, Registry.com, whatever that is, because we have traced our family via the censuses that were taken all the way back to 1821. What the hell was that? I don't know what that was. So when you say foundational, what you're talking about on one hand is somebody got their TV up. What is that?
That's my girl on FaceTime. I turned it down though.
Okay.
You know how you do the Google thing. She talking to the kids in the back.
So we talk about foundational. When I say foundational Black American, I mean it in regards to the people who assisted in building the foundation for the United States of America were black, enslaved black people. Okay. When we talk about foundational, we talk about the bottom of or the base of who we are and where we come from. It's based on those people who were brought over here, stripped of their identity, stripped of all rights, stripped of everything you can imagine humanly possible, and then told, here you go, thrive. Right. So they come from this bottom existence where even the foods that we ate, which were scraps, have become delicacies now.
A delicacy.
So these are the people who laid the foundation for who Black America is right now. They're the people who we say paid the cost to be the boss. They're the people who survived slavery, hundreds of years of slavery, and then had to go through Jim Crowism, and then we had to survive through the crack epidemic. Those are people who paid a price, and they're never going to get credit for it. They're never going to get acknowledged. But to me, they are the foundation of who we are right now. So everything we do right now that's progressive, everything that we excel in, all the rights and responsibilities that we required and that are now required to uphold, I feel like it's based on them. So I say,
yeah, I can see that.
But that's a specific group of people. We're not talking about Latinos. We're not talking about Jamaicans or Haitians or Native Africans. We're talking about a group of people who were stripped and said, and then left out to survive. And so that is a specific group of Black people. Not every African is a descendant of slaves in America. And you know, you got Black people. We have melanin all over the place. So you got Jamaicans, you got Haitians, you got Dominicans, you got all kinds of different people who have melanin in their skin, but not all of them endured the American chattel slavery. Not all of them lived through Jim Crowism. And so we are descendants of the group of people who I know I am, because like I said, I've traced my roots all the way back to 1812. So I know my great-great-grandparents were slaves. So I'm a descendant of those people. I'm a descendant of a bunch of field niggas. And so I acknowledge them by saying I'm a foundational Black American. I'm a descendant of those people. And so, I mean, my parents came north via the Great Migration. And my mother, I grew up with my mother and my father, who were born in the Jim Crow South in the 30s and the 40s, picking cotton, right? Like, so my family endured a lot of that stuff. So for me to turn a blind eye because now I'm a Northern Negro and I managed to go to school and get a little education and all that, then that's what foundational means. When you say a foundational Black American, it means that group of Black people who are in this country who are descendants of those slaves. To me, that's what it means. And when I do research on what FBA is, it's the same sentiment. It is okay. And see, you don't have to, it's nothing you could sign up for. And there's no bumper sticker and there's no website. Either you are or you aren't. Like I said, go and research your family. If you can go and say, hey, because most of us know our families came from the South, right? Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, Missouri, Texas, all these different places in the South, Georgia. We know that.
Remember, I said I was born in Arkansas. I wasn't raised there. But my mother and them from Arkansas. I was born where what's her name? Sharita. I was born in Camden, Arkansas, where Sharita is at.
Not Sharita. You're talking about I know you're talking about the sister who always calls. I know who you're talking about. She's always in the chat room, I should say. My point is, when it comes to FBA, it's not really about a club or signing up for something. You either are or you aren't. Like if your parents and your great-great-grandparents were down south or out east in Virginia, we know the where they were bringing the slaves in at. If those people are your forefathers and your ancestors, you're a foundational Black American, whether you want to be or not. So depending on where Roland's people come from, he might be one. So you can you might be one. You know, it's one of those things where self-identification is necessary for us. It's one of the only things we have in
his family from Haiti or something.
Maybe so. And if his family's Haitian, I'm not saying there weren't slaves in Haiti, because we know that they had a revolution down there. But we're talking about Americans. We're talking about America. And I heard you said it. You said, I'm an American. See, if you're a black person in this country, you are the only true American. The white people in this country aren't true Americans. They're immigrants. They're the ones who Trump should be sending ICE after, because they're from Italy and Germany and Poland and France and all these different places. Black people are the only true Americans because we are the only. We're the only group of people that were actually manufactured by this country. America made us. America made black people. I keep saying
they did. They had breeding farms. We don't even really know the depth of slavery. But
black people only come from America. There's no such thing as a black person from England. You're not black if you're probably Nigerian or Kenyan, or you probably know where you come from in the motherland. I don't know where my family came from in Africa, and I don't trust spitting in the envelope, sending it off for them to tell me where we came from. Okay, my family came from Mississippi. That's where we come from, and I can trace us back to there, way back, 100 years ago, over 100 years ago. So black people only come from America. There's no such thing as a black Chinese person. So we only come from America. So, we're the only real Americans. That's why we deserve reparations, because we are the only true Americans in this country. That's why it always bothers me when you hear a white man talking about patriotism. The hell you know about patriotism? Patriotism is being enslaved and oppressed by this country, but yet you still answer the call for every military conflict, when it comes to money for powering this economy. That's us. That's what we've done. What would this country be without black culture, without us coming over here, innovating? And look how many things we actually invented. This very thing we're on right now on the internet, revolutionized by black engineers and black scientists. So, there's no box we haven't checked as citizens of this country. So that's why when I say foundational black American, that's how I identify it. Let me go to the chat room right quick to catch up.
Yeah.
Shaw, she's shouting out Ruben. She said good shit. Shout out to Ruben Anderson. Always appreciate his contribution. She said, you like Meek Rollin' for real? Fuck Rollin'.
Rollin produces, like, I listen to Karen Hunter. I listen to Dr. Greg.
I like Karen.
I listen to Reese Colbert. Yeah, Karen a beat. Oh, my mama. I listen to Reese Colbert. I even listen to the homosexual Kane, whatever his name is, Clay Caton. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, even though I don't like homosexuals, but I'm not looking at. He was gay. I be watching stuff about him at night. What was his name? Damn. It wasn't Eli.
You talking about
I can't think of his name, but yeah. No. He was. I have to see in my YouTube history, but yeah, though, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I don't. Sometimes, like, now it's just like, okay, just fuck the message and listen to the man. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? But excuse me. I be listening to so much. I just like inquiring knowledge. Like, I be listening to stuff about the Persians, which is Iranians. I be listening to stuff at night about the Mongolians, about Iraq, Afghanistan. You know what I'm saying? Just to understand the gravitas, the gravity of how the United States and Iran, like, this is something that go back from 1953. You feel what I'm saying? And then thinking about when Ronald Reagan stole arms when he did the Iran-Contra affair. You know what I'm saying? It's like, right. But then, like, I hate to hear white people, but they be like, they are very uneducated. Most of them are. You know what I'm saying? Because how can you sit up and say you love a country that did so much to other countries? You feel what I'm saying? And then when the person because Saddam Hussein sat down at the table with the devil before. And when he wasn't no more good to us, look what we did. Even the Iranians, you know what I'm saying? That's how the whole thing happened with Iran taking the plane. And when Carter was up for office, and then Ronald Reagan was behind that because he stopped the Iranians from releasing them to make Jimmy Carter look bad, and then Jimmy Carter get reelected. And then when you just look at everything that the United States did to so many countries, when I first started really learning about the United States, when I knew about the Vietnam War, how we trained the Vietnamese. And when we seen what the Vietnamese did to the French, we turned around and did it to them. Like, ooh, they might do. And everybody we did it to. We trained Afghans to fight the Soviets. We armed Iran. We armed Iraq. The only people that's really, and then, I don't even know what's going on with Israel. I don't even really acknowledge them. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I know is Israel is the America's pit bull for the Middle East. But everybody else is in our pockets. Saudi, Qatar, Yemen, all them little oil-rich nations, you know what I'm saying? Kuwait, all them is in our pockets. Look at Syria. You don't even hear about Syria no more. Syria, the president of Syria, he was ousted and he over there in Russia because he was with what's dude named Vladimir Putin. He over there with Russia. So it's just so much that these people have done, and you can sit up here and say, then not only that, look what they did to the natives and look what they did to us. And you can sit up here and say you're a patriot and you proud of that. You know what I'm saying? You should shoot yourself in the face.
That's a little extreme. I'm not gonna shoot myself in the face.
Yeah, they should though.
I just identified as an American. I'm not gonna get off the air and shoot myself in the face because somebody got a boot put on their neck when the boot been on our neck forever.
You should just be And like I watch Al Jazeera. Man, there's so much going on around the world, man. People like they be talking about over there in West Africa. They squeezing them people, you know what I'm saying, with this oil thing. Like, it's just so much going on. Like, oil, it ain't even hit us yet because they were saying, imagine you on a bicycle and you trying to make it because a tanker ship doesn't go by miles per hour. It goes by knots. Knots. So it's like you trying to ride a bicycle.
Thanks for your message for 9.
So it's not Wait, who is that talking? Is that Ian?
Somebody's calling somebody and the voicemail is picking up. I don't know what people got going on. I do got Ewok on the line though, so I want to bring Ewok into the conversation.
Walt. What up, Walt?
What it do, man?
What it do, fellas? What it do, Outlaw Radio?
What's happening with you,
man?
Hey,
crew together.
Man, no doubt. So when it comes to, then we got to peep this game from a different angle, because I'm back to this foundational Black American shit. And I believe in that. But my point I'm trying to make is my grandmother on my mama's side from Batesville, Mississippi, Tula, Mississippi. I'm talking about straight up off the boat. You know what I'm saying? Used to be slaves, motherfuckers, sharecropper, all of that type of shit. But then my grandmother on my father's side she swore, because they both gone, swore that her people was already here. They didn't come off no boat. You know what I'm saying? They had been here already the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta split that. You can't just look at it from one angle. So you know what I'm saying? That's what got us so confused, because a lot of people who swerving down shit. We was here before the boat got here. Some people think it wasn't that many boats. You know what I'm saying? So I was just wondering what y'all thought about that, because my grandma Sally said her people didn't get off no boat. They was here already, and she looked the part too. You know what I'm saying?
That's fine. That's fine if someone says that, and that's why you didn't hear me reference a boat. That's why you heard me talk about going back to look at census reports to figure out who my greats were, where they were from, where they established a home at. I didn't reference a boat. I didn't reference anywhere in Africa.
No doubt.
They could have been
someone.
No doubt.
I'm not accusing you of that.
No. They could have been people who were native to this land, and whatever. That could be true. Like, I mean, when we talk about innovation, we know that Africans were all over this planet before they were even given credit. That's why you got dark melanin filled people coming from different regions of this planet. Like, so it may have been true that they were here before the slave trade. I would never discount that. But like I said,
I just want the answer, I just want the answers, and it's so hard. You can search and look and search. It's so screwed up the way that they play with history and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is don't stop searching, because we will find out. We don't find out.
Yeah, when
hold on. Let's say the slaves over here.
Let's say this too, though. Anybody who's listening, don't take my word for it. Please go and do your own research. Just like I just said, we went and researched our own people. We went to look for ourselves to see where we're from. I didn't take somebody else's word for it. I didn't have my uncle tell me or my cousin tell me. I went to look myself and say, okay, here's the name of the individual that was my great great grandfather. And then I cross-referenced that by some of my elder relatives, like my uncles, and they say, yeah, that's right. That was my granddaddy name. That was my great grandfather. So do your own research, no doubt. I please do your own research. Please do your own research.
Real talk.
I'm looking at the chat room with Ace Cooley. He says hip hop, when the deal that was made with the label owners and the privatized prisons, they put that shit out to trap black youth. As a matter of fact, if the state doesn't keep them full, the prisons can sue. You're talking about privatized prisons. This is Sharita Shaw in the chat
Never heard that one.
She said you can't be FBA rolling with Roland. Roland doesn't like FBA, anybody who identifies with it, so definitely not. I've heard him say some crazy shit about people who, identify with the delineation movement. Ace Cooley said, I think he just
look at it as something just made up.
Ace says, I meant the hip hop went bad when that all happened. I don't know if he thinks, you know what, Dion, that might be his perspective, but I feel like I said before, he's a conformist. I feel like, some people want to fit into a box, and they don't like when black people, even there's some black people who don't like when you step outside the box. They don't like, we look at historical figures like with so much reverence. There was a lot of black people who didn't like Martin Luther King, who didn't like Malcolm X. They didn't like, look what happened to Nat Turner. There's always been black people who were against any kind of movement that was out of step with what Massa wanted us to do. If you go back and look at the debate between Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois, there was an argument about where we should be moving and how we should be moving, like the Atlanta Compromise. So historically, you can go back. It's some rich information about black people on one side moving one way and black people on the other side wanting to move a different way. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So I expect somebody like Roland, who is, like I said, he's a Democrat. He's been an attorney. He's, he's a conformist. He conformed to the system, and he wants you to do so as well. He don't want you to be a rabble rouser. Don't you be getting people upset. Let's say, why you talking loud? What you talking about? Right? Like, so, I expect people to be that way. I've pissed some older black men off by talking about Obama or talking about some of the what I feel like is the mistakes of the civil rights movement, in which you were talking about inclusion as opposed to empowerment. And there's been some old black men who say, you don't know what you're talking about, young fella. Okay, well, you disagree. That's one thing about me is I don't mind if you disagree with me. I really don't. That is totally fine with me. And I probably respect you more if you have your own opinion. So, Roland can be Roland. Let him go. But my problem come when you try to talk down, when you try to sidebar and make it seem like people who subscribe to the FBA theology are fools or idiots or followers or is divisive. Like, what's divisive about identifying who I am? It's like me saying my last name is divisive. When I say I'm a Barnes, ooh, Kevin, you can't do that. That's divisive. Why can't I identify who I am? Especially if I know who I am. So, who is this? This is Ace. He said, you didn't even mention all the inventions that were stolen from us, and they created a bill for each one of those inventions. I mean, it doesn't stop. It doesn't. When it comes to how we've been treated in this country, short end of the stick is an understatement. So I don't even have to go over every invention, because I think a lot of us we already know. Sharita, you're right. I feel like it's lineage. She said it's lineage, not a group. She's talking about, I did, Tariq Nasheed did quote Tether, which is some people who have melanin in their skin and they want to kind of jump on the bandwagon. I see Latinos, when they've been hitting this wall with Trump, no pun intended, when they've been having their problems, they say, where the black people at? Well, a lot of y'all jumped on our backs for civil rights, and white women should bow down and kiss black people's feet, because half the rights they enjoy right now came from our struggles. So, she said Roland is a boule. Is he? She said he's funded. Is he Black Boule? Is he part of the Talented 10th? Do your research on that, on the Black Boule. That's some interesting information right there. The Black Boule. And my daughter is Divine 9. She's Zeta. She's a Zeta, but she doesn't subscribe to the Black Boule theory. So go, but it's a lot. It's some powerful information to have. Shout out to you, Dre Day. He said white DNA is only 4,000 years old. We were everywhere due to being on Earth for over 300,000 years. We've been here, and some of us was brought. He said with the natives and the FBA. He said we're the natives and the FBA. We are the natives and the FBA. Okay, good point. We've been here, and some of us was brought here on the boat. And Earl wouldn't let it go past without saying, in the only way Earl can say, fuck Donald Trump. Don't forget that.
I agree with him.
Don't forget fuck Donald Trump, man. Earl is always going to make that point. I don't know, man. The weather's changing. I'm telling people right now, you know, it's about to be cool to get out here and enjoy the weather, man. I just want everybody to be safe. Keep your head on the swivel. You know, you have to watch your interactions with people. We see now most of us right now, we came up in this era where you got into it with somebody. If it came down to, you know, throwing hands, you whooped their ass and then you left. Well, a lot of people don't take ass whoopings no more. A lot of cats now go get that gun and do that thing, man. So you got to be careful, and you have to pick and choose your battles. You know what I'm saying? So be careful, man. Keep your head on the swivel. Sharita Shaw said, but some of us was always here before the boat. Yeah, that's what he said. That's what Dre Day said, and I appreciate the sentiment. Kamar, you got some OG for us tonight or what?
Definitely. Real OGs know. You want to know how to win in life? Just outwork who you was yesterday. Stop me when I'm lying.
There we go, man. Never hesitate to put the work in, and don't expect any kind of rewards for work you didn't do. Man, I surely appreciate y'all. I'm glad to be back on. I have a great time. You know, Mondays and Wednesdays are feeling like Mondays and Wednesdays again. So I appreciate everybody who listens to the show. Please share the show, and hit the Cash App. Stop being cheap. What that young boy say? Cheap ass niggas. What is? I'm fucking with y'all.
You stupid.
Peace and love, man. Y'all be safe. I'll see y'all Monday, man. We'll have a lot more to talk about, man.
God bless.
All right, love, bro. Yeah.